to these guys to keep them under control here?
Well, they've been practicing all summer long, so they've been preparing for this game. These guys have been sick and tired of going against their own players. They want to go out there and hit someone else. So now the coaches got to be coaches and really hone these guys down and say, look, take it one play at a time. Don't get too aggressive out there, and let's continue to build from there. And you'll see the difference. As this game go on, you're going to see how guys start to relax, that adrenaline start to settle in, and then you're going to start seeing what these teams are capable of doing.
And finally, speaking of that, what do you think of this week 0? This is a week that not everybody plays. It gives them an opportunity to get a bye week later in the year. This would usually be a scrimmage week for everybody.
Absolutely. That's the biggest thing with week 0. This is not a scrimmage. It's a full-time game. And which team is going to be able to get on the field after one less week of normal practice? It's only the second year we've had this. And can you translate into a lack of mistakes, execution, and just being able to come together as a football team a week earlier than previously we've been able to do that?
All right, we're looking forward to it. Should be a big crowd here in Harrisburg. The opening kickoff is coming up. It's Imhotep Charter and Harrisburg. ABC 27 Sports and High School Sports Live coming up next.
These past few years have been tough on all of us. You worry about the economy, your job, your savings. You may even have given up on your dream of owning your own home. But don't give up just yet. We're PHFA. We help people realize their dreams of owning their own home with features like competitive interest rates, down payment and closing cost assistance, and even free home ownership counseling. PHFA can make your dream of home ownership finally come true. Find us on the web or call us to find out how.
I'm Brian Hudson, and we're PHFA. Welcome home.
Well, a huge crowd on hand here at Harrisburg High. I ran into one of the alumni from John Harrison. He said, boy, this is like the old days. This is like a football happening today at Harrisburg. Greg Mays, Fort Chapman, Blair Thomas, Imhotep Charter will kick off the great setting here on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Opening weekend of high school football. Ronald Kent and Isaiah Sawyers are deep, and here we go. We are underway, and it's going to come from the 5-yard line. Isaiah Sawyers with the ball for Harrisburg. Big hit, gets back to his own 20, where the Cougars will start it 1st and 10. Well, there's a lot of D1 talent on both squads, and this Harrisburg High team is a team of big plays.
Yes, it is. It all starts with their quarterback, who last year got a wealth of experience. He's very, very good at extending the play and looking for multiple receivers. He doesn't just zone in on one guy, but he has a lot of targets he can get the ball to.
We're talking about Jameer Wilkerson. He's number 14. First play goes to Micah Parsons. Nice pickup.
That's a great job picking up an off tackle.
Absolutely, and they got a one-back set there. They're spreading them with a double tight set, it looks like, and 2 flankers out wide, which is going to spread that defense. There's a lot of quickness and agility on this Imhotep defense.
Health home team key players for Harrisburg.
It's a tight slot to the left instead of a tight end. This is what we talked about early on, Greg, in the pregame about jitters and how about a player moving prior to the snap, all those kind of things. This would be your normal second scrimmage. It's first week.
Yes, that's normal to start the season out. Guys are so anxious to go out there and make things happen that they get overzealous and jump off sides.
So they'll back it up 5 yards. Looks like it's about 2nd and 11 for the Cougars. To the air. Nice catch on the far side. Shaquan Anderson Butts. He's head of the Penn State.
Yeah, they're going to be looking for him all day.
Yeah, they want to run that same play, and he came on the ball, so the defensive back had to respect the speed.
3rd down for the Cougars. Pitches to Parsons, and he's not going to get a first down.
It's going to be a little short.
Yep. So the opening series comes up short for the Cougars, and they will have to punt it away.
So far, Imhotep's been able to play some zone. That's what they want to try to do. They want their front 7 to be able to handle the running game of Harrisburg and also be able to pressure the quarterback. And if they can do that, that allows them to stay in more zone defense behind it. with a lot of youth, but a good quickness and agility from their defensive backs.
Tyke Smith is back deep for Imhotep Charter. High punt.
This is another area, Greg. We talked about it in the pregame, the special teams area, and they got a new kicker and punter here for Harrisburg. They did a great job last year with their kicking game.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for Imhotep Charter.
You know, you're going to see a lot of things like that when you start to get new players, you know, coming in playing new roles. We talked about the quarterback being his first start here at Imhotep. So it's going to be, you're going to see those things early in the season.
Absolutely.
Well, the young man at quarterback, we mentioned it earlier, Jalen Sutton Christian. It's his first game, but he's got plenty of experience. First varsity game, and they'll work out of a shotgun.
No tight end. They got 3 wideouts with 2 backs in the backfield.
Bad snap, and he was quick to cover that.
Harrisburg lined up in a 4-4 alignment, similar to their defense from this season ago. Player, little jitters like this, having week 0. This is the second week 1 scrimmage you've only had, not 2 scrimmages. That can play a role.
Oh, it definitely will. I mean, that's the one thing we talk about. How can the coaches settle these guys down? And you know, the center, you know, his first time snapping to this quarterback in a live situation.
Second and 22.
There's Parsons. Harrisburg blitz both inside linebackers on that play.
Stopping Carl Jones for another loss. These are our Connection Academy Imhotep key players.
That's exactly where you want your defensive line to play in their backfield. And they got some pressure, you know, off the right side to stop that play.
This is 3rd and a mile.
Don't be surprised if you see a screen or a draw here on 3rd and long with this young quarterback.
Goes to the air. Up in the air, and it's incomplete.
They faked the bubble screen there and went for the deep ball down the sideline.
Good call.
Quarterback got to put a little bit more air on that, so he underthrew him.
And there are the OSS Health defensive key players for Harrisburg, and Micah Parsons, one of the many two-way guys, but he makes an impact both ways.
You're going to see a lot from those 2 middle linebackers at the bottom that was at the bottom of that screen. The inside backers for Harrisburg putting pressure, covering the field, both pass and run, and be able to run down the sideline to hawk down the wide runs.
Ronald Kent is deep for Harrisburg. Bad snap. Got some distance on it, though.
End over end.
It'll be spotted at the 20-yard line. So both teams go through a first series of plays, and it goes right back to Harrisburg.
One thing we can look at here on this second possession for Harrisburg, the nose guard, Zymir Cobbs from Imhotep. He's very active, and he can wreak some havoc in here. He could cause Harrisburg's offensive line, especially the center, some trouble. Now, Harrisburg has been under center so far the first series. Now they're going to go to shotgun with 4 wide.
1st and 10 for the Cougars. We're early first quarter here from Harrisburg High. No score. And the give is to Jameer. And he is planted back. No gain, maybe a loss of a yard or so.
Playing only a sophomore, and he's going to, new situation for him. The kid they lost from last year that everybody loved, Joel Davis, the big 33 coaches loved him. He was not only a safety and a receiver, he was a kicker and a punter. East Stroudsburg got a steal. What a great kid.
So it'll bring up 2nd and 10 for Harrisburg. To the air. It is complete. That is Danell Enriquez. And he is heading for the end zone for the first score of the game.
They hit the loose slot on the trips route right down the seam. Beautiful pass and catch, and then run after the catch for the Cougars.
79 yards.
Well executed there. Well executed. They held up the nose guard so he didn't give him no pressure. Gave him enough time to drill that ball right in there.
And these are the things that the whole mid-state area has been looking for and expecting from this fabulous quarterback, Ymir Wilkerson, a multi-year starter with lots of experience. And he found his receiver there with great touch.
And Harrisburg on the board, and we have seen this so many Saturday afternoons here. Severance Field, and
Harrisburg is not only missing the T, they're missing a player, the left wing back. And Harrisburg now has 2 T's out in the field. They got the one off there.
Well, here's the extra point, and it is good. Anderson Butts is a wide receiver. He can kick as well, and he puts it through. 7-0 Harrisburg. First quarter here on High School Sports Live and ABC 27.
Groff Tractor is your full-line equipment dealer representing Case Construction and many other leading brands, serving the total sales, rental, parts, and service needs of its customers. Groff Tractor paves the way for your projects from start to finish. With 11 locations, Groff Tractor is always close by your equipment needs. Groff also offers 24/7 field service. Groff Tractor is your #1 source for everything under construction.
No regrets.
If only she'd parked in a garage. If only they had the chimney cleaned. If only they had Erie Insurance. Erie is seriously good insurance that treats you fairly and goes above and beyond to make you feel like your auto or home mishap never happened. At rates that'll save you as much as the other guys. So get a quote from Erie today. Because whatever your regrets in life, your insurance company shouldn't be one of them.
Your local Erie agent is Capital Region Insurance Agency. Get a quote at 717-731-1142.
Get to the opening kickoff there as Christian Marsh gets it back to about the 20-yard line. Hey, players from all over the state of Pennsylvania will be trying out for Team Pennsylvania boys and girls AAU teams. Advanced Hoop is the leader in AAU basketball in central Pennsylvania. Tryouts for the spring team are October 28th and 29th. For more information, go to advancedhoops.com.
On that last return there, it looked like that guy was just trying to, work his way through there instead of trying to hit it up in there. You got to get, more yards out of that return.
Absolutely. And Blair, you did it early in your career at Penn State. You did a lot of kick returns.
Yes. One thing I do know about kickoff return.
On the ground, that is Carl Jones for Imhotep Charter.
The thing that Harrisburg has been able to do defensively the last couple of years, their team speed, run into the football. The last 2 years they've gone to more of a base look of a 4-4 defense. Their players line up properly, they read properly, they're well coached, and they run to the football.
Second down for Imhotep. Work out of the shotgun. And it looks like Harrisburg is drawn. Maybe.
Yep, encroachment on the defense. Greg, since Harrisburg has been a school, when John Harris and William Penn joined for the 71 football season, they're notoriously known for what they can do when their hands are on the ball after the catch. And they proved that there just now, here in 2017. A fabulous passing catch, but then the run after the catch.
For those of you who don't know, Harrisburg High, as Forrest said, was split into 2 schools many, many years ago. Here's Carl Jones to the outside, gets a break. Almost to midfield. Big run by Carl Jones.
And while Imhotep is not known, as the player said in the pregame, for a history of football, their short history, their brief history, they've done a very good job, and they have a lot of athleticism and skill, and they can do things with the ball once they're in, as you saw right there from Jones.
That was a great job of them getting the edge so he can stretch it outside and cut underneath. Great execution on that play.
On first down to the air. Wow, he caught it and hung on.
Looked like 10 out there on the tackle.
Groff Tractor is your full-line
Yusuf
equipment
Terry
dealer.
on that catch. They got a lot of guys who they rotate in and out, and a lot of juniors on this Imhotep Charter team.
Imhotep's big concern guys, was just, can they string plays together after last week's scrimmage? Can they go 5, 6, 7 plays in a row without a major error?
Jones again. Oh, big tough stop in there by the Cougars.
That's the linebacker play we just talked about. There's Andre White. Andre White with a huge linebacker hit.
He did a great job of filling the hole, but not only that, he he had his feet moving like pistons and drove the guy right back.
Absolutely. Blair, there's a guy you played with in college by the name of Shane Conlon. Those are the kind of hits I'm sure you saw numerous times as you were on the other side of the ball.
Yes, great job, great execution by Harrisburg.
So the turnover, you'll watch it again. It gives the ball to the Cougars. 1st and 10, just beyond the midfield stripe.
A lot of teams like to go for a big strike after a turnover, especially near midfield.
They're going to the air, and it's incomplete. Ronald Kent was the intended receiver.
Yes, well defended on that play, well defended.
Cougars out to the early 7-0 lead. Glad you're with us here on ABC 27. We welcome everybody across the state, watching on PCN as well. Great opening weekend, week 0 as we call it here in Pennsylvania. You have the option to play this week and then get a bye week later in the year. Everybody will start play in full next weekend. But this is a great game to kick off the high school football season. That is the give to Jameer Plant. Didn't get very far.
He's going to bring up a 3rd and long for Cougars. Head coach Calvin Everett has done a fabulous job here in his 5-year stint so far at Alma Mater. And his offensive coordinator, Tim Boblik, a former quarterback at Cedar Cliff, has been calling the plays for several years here and does a really good job mixing things up and spreading things out.
These guys have been a lot of fun to watch. Went to the state championship last year. Great potential again this year. On 3rd and 10.
3-by-1.
Screen.
Up in the air. And Plant is finally brought back down.
That was the running back slipping out of the backfield to the short side. Defended very well by Devon Johnson's defense. He's the defensive coordinator and D-back coach for Imhotep.
Yeah, they did a great job of recognizing that screen there. They were waiting for that one.
So Harrisburg will punt it away.
Micah Parsons doing the punting chores here, taking over from last year's graduate Joel Davis. Last punt.
Hasheem Young. Well. Hasheem Young is deep. He's headed to Penn State. Kind of a line drive, but very effective. And this is going to roll into the end zone. Almost came up short. But he's doing it all, Micah Parsons. And Imhotep Charter will get the football. 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line.
You know, Blair and Greg, Imhotep has gotten most of their success so far on the ground, whereas Harrisburg, here we're only in the first quarter, but has gotten a lot of their success through the air. If Imhotep can mix up that run and pass some, they're going to be tougher to defend. But right now, Harrisburg's front 7 has been okay for the test, except for that cutback run early.
It seems like they're trying to get the rhythm going with the run game. They haven't established it on a consistent basis yet, but they're trying to develop that.
Absolutely.
1st and 10 for Imhotep. He's in some trouble. Captured from behind. Guess who? It's Micah Parsons. Jalen Sutton Christian brought down by one of the top recruits in the country. There he is, 23.
All the way from the backside, Parsons ran that down. The quarterback was able to scramble, though, and pick up about 4 yards, so they're still in good down and distance situation for 2nd down.
Yeah, but he got to make that decision a lot sooner. He's going against some very good football players, one of the top guys in the country. He got to make that decision fast and go.
Same formation, opposite side. 3 wide outs to the wide side of the field. Harrisburg in a 4-4 defense, cover 3 behind it.
Quick pitch.
Corner did not keep contained.
Kadarius Smith finally brought down.
Simple fundamental play on defense out there by the corner for Harrisburg. If you're the furthest guy on the outside, you cannot get blocked in and let the running back player go outside of you.
I think the receiver kind of covered him up, and he couldn't, so he lost contain. Which,
absolutely.
You know, that's the one thing you can't do. You want to turn that thing back inside. He lost contain. The running back jumped outside. Got a lot of positive yards in the play.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for Imhotep Charter. They're moving the football.
Bubble screen.
Nice hands. Marsh. And we got a flag after the catch.
Probably a holding out here. The great advantage for you people at home on a bubble screen, the ball's being caught behind the line of scrimmage, which means the receivers can block downfield prior to the ball being caught. It's not offensive pass interference in high school and college.
The guy did a great job of staying with the ball. It wasn't a perfectly thrown ball. He was able to tip it back to himself, make the catch, and some positive yards on that play.
And it is against the Panthers.
But you keep your blocks outside there, Greg. You can't hold on too much, or they caught it there. Refs caught him with it. It's going to go back, be 1st and 15.
Seven 0 Harrisburg. 4 left here in the first quarter. The air screen tip. It goes to Young. And he gets some yardage, and another flag is down.
He had a hold outside by one of the receivers. He actually pulled and dragged the defender down. If we can see a replay of that, we'll catch it. And the ref from way back in the back, official found it. Looks like that's what he's going to call. The flag came in from 20 yards behind the safety.
Yep,
that was the right call. There were 2 receivers outside of the, or out there blocking for the outside receiver getting the quick screen, and one of them held the jersey of the defender for Harrisburg and dragged him to the ground.
A lot of times those young receivers, they don't get a chance to get enough work in it, or they get lazy with their feet. So you got to block those guys with your feet, so you got to stay engaged with the guy.
Absolutely.
If you get lazy with your feet, then you start reaching and pulling.
And Harrisburg has a lot of quickness on defense, which sometimes you're not expecting. There's not enough guys on the line of scrimmage. So that guy's moving up. They're okay now.
On 1st and 20.
Home run down the sidelines.
Looking deep. Over the head of Terry. Looking for a big play, and that'll bring up 2nd and 20.
There was a little hand jostling there, players. They went down the field. Usually you're not going to get that called if there's not too much contact. Both guys look to be going with their hands a little bit.
Yeah, you want to let them play out there, you
Absolutely.
know. If it's not anything too blatant, you want to make sure they get an opportunity to make some great catches.
Too many men on the field for Imhotep. They're going to call a timeout.
7-0. Harrisburg's on top. You're on ABC 27, PCN, and High School Sports Live.
Hi, I'm Brandon. I'm proud to help save lives.
And I'm Brandon when he was in 8th grade.
With Dad's job, we moved around a lot.
So I went to school online at Connections Academy.
Virtual education was more flexible, and it really motivated me to learn.
I got way organized.
That paid off junior year when I started going to high school here in town, and it's paying off now.
Whoa, you look cool in that uniform.
I know, right? We look cool.
Commonwealth Connections Academy, the tuition-free public cyber school.
Well, Team Pennsylvania with their fall AAU tryouts, all the great programs with Advanced Hoops. You can get more information by logging on to advancedhoops.com. Well, what a great crowd here today. I mean, you're looking at the Imhotep side, but on the side of the cameras, it is full here today. This is great.
I haven't seen a high school game like this in a long time. They really had turned out for this game.
Draw on the play coming back off the timeout. That was Carl Jones.
This Harrisburg football team last season really brought a lot of pride to the community here, and the Cougar fans are coming out in droves And this game has been highly anticipated since this matchup was put together a few months ago.
There's a great alumni base between the Harrisburg High, John Harrison, William Penn, where you're right. A lot of Cougar pride here. Football's got a great facility, great fans, now a great team. Yeah.
New facility in 2003, Postgame.
And that goes to Smith. Tyke Smith breaks a tackle. About 7 yards short of the first, but another nice pickup for Imhotep.
An interesting thing here, every team basically that Harrisburg plays on the regular season schedule, they have more speed than. And this is a situation where that's not necessarily the case. There's a lot of speed on both sides, so angles of pursuit are going to be more important today than they usually are for both teams here.
We saw that on the touchdown run. The guy took a bad angle, missed the tackle, points. So you're absolutely right. There's a lot of team speed on both sides of the ball.
And Harrisburg's going to call a timeout on this fourth down. They're going to get the football. Well, Imhotep comes right back. The PA announcer just said, and I noted that they've got a game on Thursday night against, double check who they're playing, but they've got Ben Franklin next week. Next Thursday, they're going to go right back at it, and then
that's a tough one, playing a Saturday game then a Thursday. Blair alluded in our pregame show about Imhotep being a fairly new program. Their former head coach did a heck of a job getting it together, Blair said. And then Mark Schmidt took over as a former coach of the Chamonix for years. He took over as the head coach last year to keep it going. He was an assistant previously. Mark is still on staff, but they brought in a new coach, Nick Lincoln, as the first-year mentor of Imhotep.
Next game for Harrisburg will be Big Devitt, which you'll see right here on ABC 27.3 and High School Sports Live. Got a doubleheader next week, which we'll talk about. Coatesville coming into Cumberland Valley next Friday night for the first full week of high school football.
Matt Ortega coming back to town with his son as the sophomore quarterback.
And they go, it took an Imhotep bounce, and it's going to roll, and they're going to down it at the 4-yard line. Ronald Kent was hoping to catch it, get a couple of yards, but it kind of squibbed back, and now Harrisburg will be back up.
Good decision there by Kent not to field that inside the 5-yard line. It just took an unfavorable bounce for the Cougars. And Imhotep has a chance getting great field position here, down early by a touchdown. They can get some momentum here late in the first quarter.
Well, you always talk about, you know, field positioning, and you want to try to keep them on their side of the field as much as possible. So hopefully Harrisburg can get out of this hole right here.
Zone defense being employed by the Panthers.
That's Parsons in the backfield.
Got to be careful here this deep in your own territory with turnovers.
Screen, far side, incomplete.
Trying the 5-yard hitch route out there. Just reading the zone defense. And 2 receivers run the same route out there, and he went to the outside guy just a little bit, thrown a little bit wide. If you're Harrisburg, if you're not going to get a first down, you definitely have to get out to about 5 more yards so it's not such a tight punt, and the punter doesn't have enough room back there in the back of the end zone.
2nd and 10. Still backed up.
Still going 2 by 2.
You'll see a lot of this stuff right here where Harrisburg is looking over to the sidelines. Coach Boblik giving them the play once they see the formation. Probably had offensive movement by the line. There will false start. Legal procedure by the Cougars. That's what it is. That'll only be half the distance since they're so close to the goal line.
Backs him up to the 2.5. Maybe the 2. So 7 and 12. Trying to get out of this hole. Harrisburg with a 7-0 lead. To the air. Incomplete.
That's a rhythm pass. You got to throw it past the linebacker and before the safety. The ball just thrown on time, but just a little bit overthrown.
Right. It was a great thought, but I think when you're backed up that low, you got to think about giving your punter some time or some distance. You don't want to be too backed up, so I would think you would try to get some positive yards.
Yeah, it'll be interesting what they do here. Maybe they'll give the ball to Parsons here to try to get, like you said, try to get out to the 5-7 yard line.
So this is 3rd down, and they're going back to the air again, and they're going deep for the home run ball. And is that interference? No flag. The Cougar bench and Calvin Everett pretty upset, but.
And remember, in high school football, there's no uncatchable ball like there is in college and the pros. So if that was interference, it doesn't matter. The ball was overthrown. But official on this side ruled that it was a legit play. A little jostling by both down there. Usually that D-back had a little contact on him, but not enough for a penalty, according to the official down there.
So Parsons will have to punt it out. Hasheem Young is deep.
Most punters are usually 13, 14 yards from the ball. And now there's only going to be at most about 11. They're missing a player on the field here. Imhotep timeout.
That is not a spaceship. That is feedback from the PA announcement. We are not being invaded, ladies and gentlemen. 7-0 Harrisburg. Greg Mace for Chapman. Former Penn State star Blair Thomas with us. I got to ask you when we got a quick break here while the spaceship moves away. For your old team, Penn State, what a great revival. James Franklin's done such a great job. Great finish in the Rose Bowl. Got to the Rose Bowl. What have been your emotions watching these guys come back?
Well, I tell you, they've been building that thing for a couple years now, and Coach Franklin came in with this mentality that we was going to attack on offense, attack on defense, attack on special teams, and I think he's finally starting to get those pieces in play for them to make the type of run that we anticipate them making. I enjoyed every single game last season, even went out to the Big Ten Championship where they were down against Wisconsin, and then, I came back to win that game, and then I went out to the Rose Bowl as well. So they had a storybook season last year, and it's all because they got their scholarships back.
And a number of Penn State guys have verbally committed.
That's a good job by Parsons just to get that out of there with limited space and pressure coming on the punt rush.
Got it all the way back to about to the 38-yard line. Where it'll be 1st and 10 for Imhotep. They have yet to score as we head down the stretch of the first quarter. Going to hear from Archie Smith Jr. on the sideline, get his perspective. The former Alabama State Harrisburg indoor star has been with us on High School Sports Live. He's been listening in on the Harrisburg bench, and we'll check out with Archie here in just a minute. But pretty good field position to start here for Imhotep. Carl Jones back in the backfield with their quarterback Jalen Sutton Christian. Jones again.
Look, delayed counter play back to the right. Didn't fool Harrisburg at all.
They've been having so much success with that shovel pass out of 3-by-1 that they decided to come back and counter against it, but they did a good job of stopping it in the middle.
Brings up 2nd and 8.
Sorry.
Looks like Micah Parsons lined up at an inside linebacker here the last few plays.
Here's Young cutting up the middle, picking up some significant yardage, and it looks like he's got 1st down.
Looks like enough for a 1st down.
Hasheem Young.
I know we mentioned it. We got to emphasize it again. Angles of pursuit with the speed on both sides, and Harrisburg has to be careful not taking proper angles with this speed from Imhotep.
Here's Young again, breaking to the outside. Oh, big stop by Parsons.
That was a great run, even though he didn't gain many yards, but he had to make 2 defenders miss before he got out of the backfield.
And now you see why Young's so highly sought after, and he's going to be a Nittany Lion next season. He's very well known as a safety, but now he's showing his versatility from the other side of the football. Very similar to Micah Parsons being known for the Cougars as a defender, but has lately shown his prowess on the other side of the ball.
So that'll bring up 2nd and 10 for Imhotep. Harrisburg with the only score of the game. Little keep screen intended for Omar Spates. Incomplete.
Little bootleg out of shotgun. They fake the run to the right. And then the quarterback semi-rolled to the left. He tried to hit the wing back coming across the field in the flat.
Well, Harrisburg had got some great penetration there, and the quarterback had to rush that pass a little bit because he had some pressure right in his face, so he had to get rid of the ball right away. He didn't really get a chance for the play to completely develop.
Not knowing a whole lot about the Imhotep kicking game, they probably are in 4-down territory here at the 25, so they 3rd and 9, but they have 2 downs to get the 9 yards.
We approach the end of the first quarter. And a whistle.
Looks like illegal procedure on the offensive line, early movement.
So that'll back up them to 3rd and 14 now.
Place kicking for Imhotep supposedly is done by the wide receiver, number 5, Anthony Gordon. He does the punting and the kicking. But they're a little bit too far out of his range, I would imagine, at this point, especially with the 5-yard penalty. So still 4-down territory, now 3rd and 14.
Young is in the backfield.
Screen, or draw, excuse me.
Up the middle, and
there's Parsons again from now middle linebacker position.
And a pile of Harrisburg tacklers, and that ends the first quarter. Our score is Harrisburg 7, Imhotep nothing. You're watching High School Sports Live on ABC 27 and PCN. We continue live from Harrisburg.
Groff Tractor is your full-line equipment dealer representing Case Construction and many other leading brands, serving the total sales, rental, parts, and service needs of its customers. Groff Tractor paves the way for your projects from start to finish. With 11 locations, Groff Tractor is always close by your equipment needs. Groff also offers 24/7 field service. Groff Tractor is your #1 source for everything under construction.
Beautiful day for football, Severance Field, Harrisburg. We go to our High School Sports Live member on the sideline. Here's Archie Smith. Archie, what are you thinking?
Guys, I'm down here on the Harrisburg sideline, and as you can see behind me, there is no player sitting down. Every player is into this game from the ball boy to the water boy. I mean, it's high energy, high focus. This is a big game from the Harrisburg people. They're sitting here letting them know that we want Imhotep coming out of Philly. It's a big game, but we came to play today, guys. This is a great atmosphere here today, and I am glad to be a part of it. Back to you guys.
Arch, thanks. You hear the Harrisburg High Cougar Band in the background. They are always very entertaining. And you look, there they are. Harrisburg High Cougar Marching Band. They'll be out on the field at halftime. Band works just as hard during the off season, the weeks leading up to the season. And a lot of pride there as well. They are one of the best bands in the area.
Talk about endurance in a hot day like today. The Harrisburg Cougar Marching Band can't play for an entire quarter without stopping and without any water. I can guarantee you that. I've seen it.
Even though it's the beginning of the year, they can still do it.
They're okay. They're good. They're good.
They're already in mid-season form.
Mid-season form. Oh yeah.
So we'll go back down the other end. We start the second quarter. We've got a great schedule of games coming up here on High School Sports Live, which we'll talk about, not only with basketball later in the year, but football coming up next weekend. Week #1 is Coatesville and Cumberland Valley, then Harrisburg and McDevitt in a doubleheader next week.
Last year, Harrisburg, as I mentioned, had the early lead on them. McDevitt came roaring back and got the win. Cumberland Valley went down to Coatesville and beat Coatesville. And then Coatesville went on a roll and never lost another game till the playoff run.
So you'll see that game on ABC 27.3. Well, we take a look at some of our key stats in the first quarter. Passing yardage, Harrisburg for 88, Imhotep for 25. The rushing yardage for Imhotep, 59-5.
And a lot of that Harrisburg yardage came on one big touchdown play, as you saw.
Harrisburg with just 1 first down. Both teams with 3 penalties. So we've had a total of 6 penalties so far in this game.
Imhotep knocking on the door, but now it is a
Imhotep is knocking on the door. And the give is to Young to the outside. Brought down at about the 11-yard line. Enriquez, who had that opening touchdown, made the stop. The 79-yard pass to Daniel Enriquez. The only score of the game. So Imhotep with the ball at the Harrisburg 10 on second down. Keeper up the middle, and that is Smith. And it's a fumble, and it's picked up by Harrisburg. And bringing it back almost to midfield and knocked down finally was Daniel Enriquez.
For those of you at home that were a little confused that it was 1st and 10 2 plays ago for Imhotep, we meant there was a personal foul penalty, so it was supposed to be 4th and long. That's what got the first down for them.
Now watch what happens. The
fumbled it at the 2-yard line.
And the ball scooches loose. And Enriquez picked it up. Now they're discussing there's a marker back down field.
Definitely the ball's out. There's no doubt about that. Almost caught by the lineman for a touchdown. That's number 72, Eric Lachetta.
So here's the call. It's a personal foul.
After the ball was picked up, though. Now, where that personal foul was will mean that Cougars are going to get the ball, but they are going to be, once again, deep in their own territory coming out.
So they're going to spot it back at the 4-yard line.
I'm thinking it's going to be half the distance then from about the 2. Yeah, they're going to
yeah, you're right.
2 or the 1.
Yeah, half the distance from the 2 will get back to the 1-yard line.
So they're backed up again for a second straight series. And we will put on the long-range binoculars for this one. For those of you who still use binoculars.
No tight end here. Spread set with 4 wides and 1 back and shotgun from the 1-yard line for the Cougars.
Quick screen. Here's Plant. Plant's got some running room. Finally brought down. He almost broke that one.
They brought Plant out of the backfield, and the defender on that side was so concerned with the 1 wide. Out here, you'll see it. Brought him right out the flat. Great play call by Tim Boblik. Nobody there for Imhotep.
So it's 1st and 10 for Harrisburg.
Omar Speets, the linebacker, had to make that play and keep a touchdown happening there.
That was a great play selection, and they, give them some breathing room. So now they can really open up their playbook now.
Releasing 5 wide receivers from the 1-yard line, a little bit risky, but hey, it paid off dividends for Coach Calvin Everett and his Cougars.
Wilkerson to the air is going to scramble, find some more running room, and even more running room, and gets to midfield.
That was a designed quarterback draw, a fake play action and a fake bubble screen, and then he ran it. There he is. A lot on his own. Not a whole lot of blocking downfield. He did a lot of that with his feet on his own. Very athletic play by the returning starter.
1st and 10 for the Cougars. They have the 7-point lead on their early touchdown to Daniel Enriquez. 79-yard touchdown pass in the first quarter. That's the only scoring of the game.
Four wideouts again. 3 to the near side here by the Cougars.
Whistle, and we will stop play.
Delay a game.
Now, with the number of penalties we've been seeing, is typical what you see early in the season. 2 athletic teams going against each other. They're still flowing. You said earlier, both teams had 6 penalties, 3 penalties each. Now we can add a couple more to that. So,
now, because there's no play clock in here at Severance Field, the deep official will put his hand up with 5 seconds remaining in the play clock. And Wilkerson, being a veteran, surprised he let that happen. That they were able to delay a game there.
8th penalty of the game. 1st and 15.
That's a penalty right there, 2 men in motion. They got to get set here.
How much of this is first game?
A ton, without a doubt, a ton.
A lot of it is because you have some new guys, coming in, getting a chance to play. They're not used to it. It's a lot of movement. You're trying to run the same plays out of different formations, implementing some early motion. So you have some of that when you have younger players.
Now what happened there, even though there were 2 men in motion, they never snapped the ball. So the play's not over yet because they're backs. And Imhotep jumped off encroachment after the movement, but that's okay. If a guy on the offensive line moves, that's an automatic 5-yard dead ball foul.
So it brings us back to 1st and 10. To the air.
Timing.
Nice timing is right. And it is Anderson butts, and he's going to spin.
Stepped out of bounds.
At the 20. Quan Anderson
all the way back at the 35, I think he had stepped out first.
Yes.
Here's the key. When that ball's thrown against zone on rhythm by an experienced quarterback to a fabulous wideout, it's tough to cover in zone. It's very, very tough to cover, and Harrisburg's going to take big advantage of that. Then if you start going man-to-man, you know what can happen. Butts can run right by Anderson. Butts can run right by you.
All right, Wilkerson looks at the bench for the play call. And tells his group.
They now have Young out on Anderson Butts, the Penn State recruit. That's a backward pass. That's a live ball. That's a live ball.
Sawyer's going to try to recover. And he does.
Usually when you're in shotgun and you throw the bubble screen, it's going to be forward. But that motion man took a lot of depth. And you'll see it right here. He's so far behind the quarterback that it's a lateral, which means that's a live ball right there. And fortunately for Harrisburg, Sawyers was aware of it and picked it up.
A lot of times on that bubble screen, he should be trying to stretch the defense. So he kind of throttled it down and deep in the backfield. You want him to keep on going.
Absolutely.
So it acts as a sweep.
2nd and 15.
Looks like straight man here. Man free. Yes, it is man free by the defense of Imhotep.
Wilkerson scrambling, and he'll go out of bounds at about the 32-yard line. Well short of the first down.
Bringing up about a 3rd and 6.
They had to do a good job covering downfield because he was looking to throw that.
And that's what Wilkerson's known for, being able to get out on the edge and still be alive and behind the line of scrimmage, throw the football. That time he made a good decision. Nobody was open. He got positive yardage. We're probably in 4-down territory here, so they have 2 downs to pick up this 6.5 yards.
And on 3rd, and another handkerchief is thrown.
This is not unexpected.
Welcome to the first game. Joe Paterno used to always say the biggest adjustments in football is between the first and second game.
Now, we mentioned field position earlier was Pete Blair. That had to be, you must have been hearing thoughts from years ago because Penn State, your whole career there, and for decades, over to Coach Paterno, field position was so big, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, without a doubt. So early in the year, you want them to have to travel 80 yards, 80-plus yards, and you only want to go 50.
Sure.
So that's a key. Time of possession, field position.
On 3rd and 12.
They're playing zone here.
Going deep for Anderson Butts.
Those are 2 future Penn Staters against each other there. 13 versus 3.
So it's 4th down.
Anderson Butts against Young. With the penalty now, Harrisburg's going to elect to punt on 4th and 11 rather than 4th and 6.
Haishim Young is deep. One of the seniors on this team. Imhotep charter loaded with juniors. And Micah Parsons doing it all. Well, that didn't go very far. Well, he got a break there, didn't he?
Yes.
After it went way up in the air for about 10 yards, He got another 20 on the bounce.
I'm surprised Rynell Grant, Tyke Smith from Imhotep didn't try to catch that on the fly and go, because Harrisburg's most of their guys were going down to cover the punt way down the field.
A lot of times when that happens, your coach teach you to get away from it, from it. So those guys' mindset wasn't thinking like, well, let me look around, see what's around me first.
Sure. That Tyke Smith, he's only a junior, and he's a strong safety wideout. He has had about 9 offers already as a junior, one of which is Temple.
So it's 1st and 10 for Imhotep.
Maybe jet sweep here. Yep, jet sweep to 11.
Marsh. And he
They had some success getting on the edge, but not that play. They played that extremely well.
We can talk about decades and decades. When you run wide against the Cougars, if you don't block it well, chances are they're going to string that out, and you're going to get a loss. And sure enough, 2-yard loss for Imhotep there.
So it's 2nd and we'll call it 12.
Big 310-pound, 6'2" defensive lineman, Butler Stern, number 74 for Harrisburg, clogging up the middle there with his size.
Sutton Christian to the air is going to have to scramble, and he is bottled up. And
Javon Mansfield, also a defender there in the middle. 300-pounder for the Cougars.
Komani Williams doing a little sack dance. So it's 3rd and 15 now for Imhotep. Guys are pumped. There you go.
Three wides with the tight end. It's for play action. They're going to fake that.
Give to Jones. And Jones gets a couple of yards, but well short of that first down.
Now, we've seen 2 of Micah Parsons' punts he struggled with. And here's a situation where let's see what the punter from Imhotep can do back in his territory. And should be Anthony Gordon. Yes, it is. Number 5, the wideout. If Harrisburg puts pressure on here, can Imhotep protect the punter? Looks like Harrisburg's coming with 7.
Ronald Kent is deep for the Cougars.
They're coming with 8.
Wow. No fair catch. Here goes Kent. He's got a break to the 20. Ronald Kent finally knocked out of bounds. He had a guy right on top of him and took off.
The punter made the tackle for Imhotep.
That was a little gutsy play by the kid, because the guy was coming right down on him, and he decided to make that catch without a fair catch. Turned into a great return.
Ended up getting past the line of scrimmage from the punt, 5 more yards, and Harrisburg's knocking on the door, possibly to go up 2 scores here midway through the second quarter.
Ronald Kent made it happen. Harrisburg, Imhotep Charter, Greg Mace, Blair Thomas, Fort Chapman on ABC 27.3 and all across the state on PCN. And if you're watching online, we welcome you all around America. One of the big high school games of the year in the first week.
Well, he's going to sprint out here. He's got the corner route.
Looking deep, throws. It is a touchdown, Harrisburg. And Enriquez does it again.
The inside receiver went down about 10 yards and broke to the corner. They caught him in man coverage, and he beat the safety for the touchdown.
That cleared everything out for him.
Nice idea by Boblik. Getting the quarterback a design sprint to the 2 receivers. He gets the corner, reads, there's your corner route. Wide open, the hitch, outside guy ran about 5 yards and stopped, inside guy 10 and out. Diagonal to the corner, and they completed it for a touchdown.
Anderson Butts for the point after, and it is good. So Harrisburg with both scores in this game, both same combinations. The Cougars with a 14-0 lead. We're live on ABC 27.3 from Harrisburg High.
Guys, I'm with Brian Hudson with the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency.
Groff Tractor is your full-line equipment dealer representing Case Construction and many other leading brands, serving the total sales, rental, parts, and service needs of its customers. Groff Tractor paves the way for your projects from start to finish. With 11 locations, Groff Tractor is always close by your equipment needs. Groff also offers 24/7 field service. Groff Tractor is your #1 source for everything under construction.
Greg Mays, Fort Chapman, Blair Thomas. Guys, how does this Imhotep charter team respond being down 2 touchdowns on the road?
Well, right now, some of these kids never been in this position because it was a heavy senior team last year. Now we got some other guys that have got to step up and show some leadership, and they can't try to go get it all at once. I think you got to start, whatever your foundation is, whatever you're going to live by, you got to go out there and try to move the ball. You don't want to get your defense out of the field too early, so they got to get a couple series or drives going.
In high school football, you cannot return the ball out of the end zone on kickoffs. It's been a rule forever. If there's one rule they let me change, Greg, that would be the one. That high school kids return the ball, Blair, out of the end zone, but I don't think that's ever going to change in our lifetime.
That's where you have your great returns, is when they get out of their lanes and
in high school,
because they see the ball in the end zone, you get that thing.
And you can still kick off from the 40, so you get a good kicker that can go 60 yards with it. It's a tough one for the defending team. They got to go out and get their ball in their own 20 every time. And the other thing you talked about with the adversity here, these kids know it was almost 7-7. They were almost in the end zone, fumbled at the 1-yard line, and all the momentum changed. So they got to get that back somehow, but they got to stay poised. And like you said, Blair, one play at a time.
Yes.
1st and 10 for Imhotep.
Now they're going to try a power I here. Pro-I formation.
And the give to Young. Harrisburg defense has been swarming today.
Yes, they've been getting a lot of penetration playing on the offense side of the ball. You know, in their backfield. And that's what you want your defense to do. You want to be able to turn them loose and let them play in the offensive backfield.
Imhotep, we expected to see a lot of spread stuff, but we also at some point in the game expected we'd probably see under center, 2 backs in the backfield, more of a traditional style. Now they're going to the slot I, pro I the last play, trying to get the tailback going.
Sutton Christian over center.
Power play to the split side.
That's Young. Hashimi Young.
Oh, we have a penalty. Looks like might be some unsportsmanlike by the Cougars. They have all the momentum here.
That's the last thing you want to do is when you got them on the ropes, they pressing, because that running back should have cut that up inside, but now he's trying to, use his speed to get on the outside.
Oh, it's offsetting. So it's going to bring up if that was a dead ball after the play, it's going to bring up a 3rd and long. If it's during the play, it's going to replay 2nd down. Let's see what they do. Yep, it'll be a 3rd and long. They're calling a dead ball play, Greg.
So, not no harm, no foul, but it is basically no harm, no foul. So it'll be 3rd down for Imhotep.
Almost 99% sure they're going to go to the air here. Oh, it's a toss. They're going to toss it.
Carl Jones, and he's got the first down.
They've been having a lot of success on that play because they've been stretching the defense. When you look at that play from the defense's perspective, it looked like he's trying to get outside.
The Advanced Tubes training staff features Division I level instruction.
It's almost like a flare pass.
Yes.
So they get that ball to him quickly.
So it's 1st and 10 for Imhotep Charter Panthers. Jones again. I think he got about 2 yards. Carl Jones been the workhorse at that backfield.
They haven't had much time to throw the ball down the field, so they have to rely on their run game right now. So it seems like they're trying to, get the clock going, trying to get some confidence in that offensive line because they haven't had much success throwing the ball.
So it'll be 2nd and 7.
Here's a wing set to the near side.
To the air. Almost picked off.
That's Plant out there for the Cougars.
The running back, also a defensive back, threw his hands up in the air like, man, I should have had that one.
Let's see what the offensive coordinator, also the head coach for Imhotep. Let's see what Nick Lincoln does here on another 3rd and 8 here. Last time he went with a quick toss. They're not in that type of formation. They're in a tight bunch set, both sides.
Got to scramble out of trouble. And another marker.
And you can make Imhotep punt here, or you can take the hold and back him up to like almost a 4th and 20. Because it'll be a spot foul from the hold. The hold was far back there.
What'd you do here? I mean, the defense is playing so well.
Oh, yeah. Either one. There's no wrong call here. I'm tempted to take the penalty and put him back, but I think they're probably going to – I would think Calvin Everett's going to make him punt. Let's see what he does here. It's going to be a 3rd and about 22. He's going to take him back. That's what I would do. Good call, Calvin. Because it's a spot foul, so I mean it's going to be 10 yards from where that hold took place, which will take them way back to probably the 21-yard line.
That is the 12th penalty of this game. We talked about that being typical of a first game at any level. So
talked about that extra scrimmage. That's what this turns into.
Oh, no doubt. And you got to admire both these teams. I said in the pregame show. To play a game of this caliber, this kind of opponent on both sides, I'm glad they're playing this game. Hats off to both schools.
Both runners up last year in the
Pass,
PIAA.
halfback pass.
Jones looking deep. And it is picked off.
Now, Blair, great interception, great recovery, but you know what you can do there? Maybe bat that thing down. It's because that's as good as a punt for Imhotep, but a great play, make it up. Yep.
Danelle Enriquez, who has both touchdowns, has the interception.
That's probably better than a punt for Imhotep because the last punt went back the other way.
You're darn right. Darn right. You can't fault the kid for making a fabulous play. Enriquez having a great game here today. Picked up the fumble. Had the touchdown in the corner. Makes the INT. Blair, you got to love seeing these players that go both sides of the football and are on the field the duration and just making play after play.
That's the impressive thing when you have a guy that can do it on both sides and be effective and produce, and that's what he's doing right now.
1st and 10 for the Cougars. Scrambling, looking. Wilkerson got a couple of yards out of that.
You know what I like about Wilkerson there? He didn't force anything. Nobody was open. Instead of putting the ball up for grabs, he tucked it down, got a couple yards, stayed in good, 3 yards there actually. Because a turnover here is the last thing Harrisburg wants with 3 minutes to go before the half, being up 14-0.
2nd and 8. Complete? No, it's not. Thought he had it, and he did, and then he didn't. We watch again. This is a nice pass. Kind of tried to thread the needle there, and like Ronald Kent had his hand on it momentarily, but that will now bring up a 3rd down and 8 for the Cougars.
Four wideouts, 2 to each side for Harrisburg in the shotgun.
Throws complete. That is Sawyer's big 1st down.
When you're playing zone against 4 verticals, if the linebackers don't get a deep drop, a good quarterback can thread that needle. You'll see it right here. Threads it right in the seam behind the linebackers, in front of the safety. Tough to cover.
That clearing out of the backfield kind of makes that guy, that linebacker, kind of sit
a little bit, especially if it's Micah Parsons. Good call, Blair. And you're not getting pressure on the quarterback.
Harrisburg marching. They're up 14, looking to add to this lead in the second quarter. Here's Parsons. Oh, he escaped. Houdini. Micah Parsons for the touchdown.
Great run by Parsons on the zone read.
That right there just shows his speed, his strength, his vision, all that all in one, guy, because he took that thing and slung one guy off of him like he wasn't even there and exploded right through the hole.
Absolutely.
That was a great run by that kid.
22 yards for the Cougar touchdown.
Going back to that 86 Penn State season, Penn State had 2 of those tailbacks. They had starter DJ Dozier out of Virginia Beach, and out of Philadelphia they had a Blair Thomas as backup, who then became the starter after that. And they had 2 fullbacks, Steve Smith and Tim Manoa, 2 pro fullbacks too.
They both went to Cleveland and to the Rams, to the Raiders, right after each other.
How about it?
Yeah.
Coming to the end of the second quarter, Harrisburg on a roll, up 20-0.
These past few years have been tough on all of us. You worry about the economy, your job, your savings. You may even have given up on your dream of owning your own home. But don't give up just yet. We're PHFA. We help people realize their dreams of owning their own home with features like competitive interest rates, down payment and closing cost assistance, and even free homeownership counseling. PHFA can make your dream of homeownership finally come true. Find us on the web. Call us to find out how.
I'm Brian Hudson, and we're PHFA. Welcome home.
A reminder, we've got Advanced Hoops. Their training coming up. Players from all over the state be trying out for the Pennsylvania AAU team and 3D fall training. For more information on that, starting September the 9th and 10th, it's shooting, crossover intensity, position classes. Get your players' game ready for the upcoming season. Secure your spot. Register at advancedhoops.com. Coming up at halftime, we'll have a special interview with our premier sponsor, Brian Hudson of PHFA. Charlie Fortney from High School Sports Live will talk about the schedule. And David Jones from PennLive.com, the Penn State beat writer, is here doing a little high school football today. And we're going to talk Penn State football with their great beat writer, Dave Jones.
Okay, that kick went out of bounds, so Imhotep can take the ball at the 35, or they can make him re-kick. It looks like they're going to take it to 35. Calvin Everett in his 7th season here with the Cougars really turned this program back to its glory days. The last 2 seasons in particular. He had a heck of a year in 2012 as well with a great running back, a Rutgers running back named Robert Martin III.
Not only is it a great crowd in the stands, and you're seeing the Imhotep side, but on our camera side, it is full, and people are lined up all around the fence, all completely around the field. This is one of the bigger high school crowds I've seen in recent memory.
When you get a crowd like this, is great for the program because now you're fundraising. They have, resources now that they can get more pads when you get a crowd like this.
And seeing what these guys can do. Here's the draw. And that is Darius Smith.
Smith got out of bounds, which is going to stop the clock with 1:49 to go in the first half. Imhotep, if they can get something on the board here, especially a touchdown to go in at halftime with a positive, something to build on.
On first down.
Bubble screen.
Tipped by Parsons and
incomplete. Micah Parsons creating havoc there from the defensive end position. That's a tough part out of shotgun. If you're going to throw that quick bubble, if you can get somebody on that defensive end, a lot of times teams will get the offensive tackle to reach him to get his hands down. If you let the back get him, that defensive end can already penetrate in the backfield and get his hands in the passing lane sometimes, especially somebody as quick as Parsons.
Yeah, you got to get somebody to get his hands down, whether it's that offensive tackle or the back is to that side. He got to go down there and cut him, get his hands down, and that's what we're not seeing. They're getting a lot of penetration in the backfield to wreak havoc like that bubble screen.
Second down from midfield. Oh, he's in trouble again. Big stop.
Now, Blair, I know you're used to cutting as a fullback and as a tailback in college and the pros, but remember, go back to your Frankfurt high school days. No cutting from backs in the high school level.
Jai Burney made that stop.
But hey, that's the advantage of being a college or a pro running back. Those big linemen are coming at you, those big rushers. You can cut them. Cutting means, you fans at home aren't sure, that's blocking below the waist, which you can do above the high school level, but not at high school or below.
Well, if that's the case, you got to get your tackle a quick pass
Yes,
out
right,
and go cut it down.
Right. And this big number 70 for Imhotep, let's face it, John Whitehead, he's 6'4", 270, the offensive tackle. He's big enough to do it, but is he agile and quick enough to get Micah Parsons off the snap? 3 wideouts coming to the Harrisburg, the near side here, on a 2nd and long. A third and long.
Yep. Harrisburg doing all the scoring, and Imhotep Charter would love to get on the board before the end of the half. And the give is again the number 30. Mr. Darius Smith.
Harrisburg using a timeout here to try to put some pressure on the punter and maybe get the ball back on 4th and long. Good job by Calvin Everett using that clock to his advantage. I'm not going to be surprised. Blair, I think he's going to go after this thing. I know we had a big punt return by Kent, but I think you're going to go with 8. I think they're going to bring 8 guys.
Yeah, I agree with you. And in this situation right here, you want to give your guys some more confidence. You want to, worst case scenario, he rushes it and hopefully shanks it.
Sure.
But yeah, you want to put some pressure on right now. You got a returner with some confidence after his last return. So he the right thing to do is go after him.
Glad you're with us here today on ABC 27. Also all across the state on PCN. This is our first high school game of the week. We've got 2 next week, Coatesville and Cumberland Valley, and Harrisburg and McDevitt. You can watch it on cable on ABC 27.3. We're on Comcast, Verizon, Blue Ridge and Coon. Greg Mace together with longtime area coach, former Cumberland Valley star Ford Chapman, and former Penn State and NFL great Blair Thomas. Thrilled to have you with us today. I got a lot of great memories of you playing in bowl games and stuff. And that was some of my. This will be my 39th year of covering Penn State football, and your years were some of the best. I mean, just so much fun to watch.
Oh, we had some great teams, some great players out there. So it was a great time to play college football for me, of course.
Right.
Oh, there's the low snap. He fielded it very well there on one hop, but here comes Kent.
Oh, he didn't get anywhere that time.
Really good hit by number 24, St. McLeod from Imhotep. Now if you're Harrisburg, I'm not going to be surprised if we just have a quick hitter and get out of Dodge and be up 20-0 at halftime, rather than try to risk anything with a 1:09 to go. But I wouldn't be surprised. Go for a quick hitch or even a home run. Try to throw the long ball. Let's see what Coach Everett does here.
You can see only 1:08 left in this half.
They have a 4 wide out set. Micah Parsons in the backfield with the quarterback.
Did he think the clock was running? I don't know.
Yeah.
To the air. Throws. Oh.
See, there's what we're talking about.
Yeah, that could have been an interception right there. And the way they had the receivers downfield, it was pretty much nobody out there.
Absolutely. That would have turned the tide. There's no sense in getting any momentum change here if you're Harrisburg. I can't blame them for being a little bit aggressive, but you've got to be careful.
Samir Williams was almost right there for a pick.
When you're throwing the ball, that's only a couple seconds off the clock. So you want to get out of this quarter, go into halftime, feeling good about yourself.
On 2nd down. Going up top, looking high and deep, and it is picked off. We got a marker. Young has the interception. He's bringing it back all the way to the 30, but there was a marker back downfield at the point of the interception.
I think we have defensive interference on, again, Anderson Butts had a guy draped all over him. I think that's the call. And if it is, it's going to be a 15-yard penalty against Imhotep and a 1st down for the Cougars. That's exactly what it is.
Well, this changes a little bit of the character now with under a minute left.
Now you have the ball just 3 yards shy of midfield. Now I think you can, what do you think? Be aggressive here and a minute to go. Close to midfield. What would you do?
I don't know his philosophy right now. I'll go into halftime up 20-0 and call it a day. I got enough confidence in my kids, and then, you know, give them a nice halftime speech and keep on going.
I think we're going to see the ball through the air here. Downfield about 5-10 yards.
Well, he's shown that at the start of this series that he's trying to go down the field.
Great catch.
More than that.
Fabulous catch.
Wow. That was Reese Glenn. Well, I don't know if you took the replay, I mean, you had a replay, whether or not you challenge that or not. But nevertheless, big play by Harrisburg.
41 seconds left.
Oops. There's that week 0 again.
Yeah, they're going after it right now.
Yeah.
You can tell how those receivers came off the ball.
For those
they're trying to put some more points on the board.
For those that just joined us recently, the week 0 we're referring to, this is the second year here in the state of Pennsylvania. Rather than have your second scrimmage, you can play a game this week, and a lot of teams have elected to do so. If you do so, you have a bye later in the season, a bye week where you would not have a game. And we have a great contest here, week 0 with these two squads.
And this is Forsett. Could normally be a scrimmage week, but you got a game. Scrambling, looking, trying to get out of trouble. Wilkerson still scrambling, and he didn't get anything. In fact, he lost yardage. Some nice defensive pursuit that time by Kamal Harrison and Samir Williams, who's number 4.
Believe it or not, Greg, that ball was on the 31-yard line. That was field goal range last year for the Cougars with the way that their kicker could kick the football. And this year, not quite as much.
Well, Harrisburg's taking a timeout to talk things over. And coming up at halftime, as we said, we'll take a look at our stats, some highlights, take a look ahead to the schedule that we've got, and a great lineup of games here on ABC 27. Our CRIA halftime stats and our Advanced Hoops highlights, our halftime show.
Not only Joel Davis did they miss him from being a safety and a receiver, as well as the kicker and punter. They also miss another big 33-player defensive end, Damian Barber, who is at Penn State now and was a good defensive cog for the Cougars last year in their state title pursuit.
Damian now in camp at Penn State. Immediately got the nickname of Smiley because he's a real upbeat kid.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Smiley.
Penn State, of course, opening against Akron, coming up next weekend at Beaver Stadium at noon on our mothership, ABC 27 at high noon.
Zone with a deep free safety. One man across the board with a free safety. Clock's going to keep running. They got to hustle.
That's Glenn with a catch.
I'm not sure why they're stopping the. It is a first down. Okay, from our angle, it looked like they were a yard short. First down. The clock's going to start again.
Not a lot of time to work with. The clock now rolling. Going up top, looking over the head of Glenn. So now they've got time to reset for one play.
Now, Ken Anderson Butts make this field goal. It would be a 38-yarder. It doesn't look like they're even thinking field goal, so while a year ago that would be their call, this time they're going to try to go to the end zone for one more play. And right now they're spread with 5 wide, 3 to the far side, 2 to the near side.
Now this is where you need some good linebackers that can run with that inside, receiver.
Absolutely.
On the 3 wide outside. They got a little drag coming.
Scrambled throws, complete, going to run out of bounds, and that'll be the end of the quarter. Well, a great first quarter for Harrisburg. Imhotep still trying to get on the board. Harrisburg High Cougars lead 20-0 at the end of this first half. Now Brian Hudson with Charlie Fortney.
The CEO of servicing over 60,000 customers statewide. Brian, I consider you guys as a company, much like High School Sports Live, we get over 60-some thousand people at our different games. Who knows how many are watching? We average 1,500 online watchers on the YouTube. So we're kind of in a similar business, serving people. But talk about the different ways Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency is meeting the family's needs.
Well, those 60,000 loans, we service all those right here at our corporate headquarters in Harrisburg. We have a solution center that handles a lot of those calls coming in from those customers. But in addition to those mortgage loans, we help individuals find apartments. Gotcha. And that's a totally different population also. Looking for an apartment, or they having problems with their apartment, do they want to move to another location? We have a search engine on our website that helps them locate apartments. So we cover the entire Commonwealth, and Central Pennsylvania is part of that.
Well, a lot of people are renting. So a lot of people don't know that while they're renting, they could possibly go from being a renter to a homeowner. Talk about that process.
Well, that's where our counseling network comes into play, and we do encourage potential home buyers to go to our counseling network. We have over 70 counseling agencies throughout the Commonwealth to help homeowners get ready, potential homeowners get ready. What's the budget? How do I become a homeowner? What's maintaining a home? They may not be ready right away, but we move those renters into home ownership, which is a great program.
Where can somebody who's watching, because we have a lot of viewers, where can they go to find out how to tap into some of these services?
On our website, www.phfa.org, we have a list of counseling agencies, and look for the one that's closest to your location. It's free. They don't have to pay for that, and they'll help them walk through the steps of home ownership to become a homeowner.
Brian, we may have you come in the second half of the broadcast if you want to help commentate. I don't know. No, we'll let you sit and enjoy the game. But guys, back to you. It was a great interview with Brian Hudson from Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency, and I'm sure there will be more.
Thank you.
These past few years have been tough on all of us. You worry about the economy, your job, your savings. You may even have given up on your dream of owning your own home. But don't give up just yet. We're PHFA. We help people realize their dreams of owning their own home with features like competitive interest rates, down payment and closing cost assistance, and even free home ownership counseling. PHFA can make your dream of home ownership finally come true. Find us on the web or call us to find out how.
I'm Brian Hudson, and we're PHFA. Welcome home.
Do you want to answer that?
Nah, I'd never with a kid in the car.
It's okay. I'm not here. I'm there.
For all those pokers, prodders, shuckers, and sniffers, All Giant Produce is triple checked. Farm, crate, and store. We're focusing on fresh, so you don't have to guess. My Giant. Save big on all of your game day favorites. Only at Giant, a proud sponsor of High School Sports Live.
Every day, we pride ourselves in what we do. Hard work is put into every pre-owned vehicle we put on the road. We make sure they are all safe and reliable for your peace of mind. Your real value comes from the Hoffman name and the people that stand behind it. So if you're in the market for a pre-owned vehicle, just call me, Ryan.
Today's broadcast is sponsored in part by Groff Tractor, Pizza Hut, Advanced Hoops, Highmark, Brenner Family of Dealerships, and the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency.
Now we welcome you back to our Highmark halftime show. Greg Mace together with Blair Thomas and Fort Chapman to get you guys talk a little bit about this first half. Certainly a dominant half there for Harrisburg. Some big plays. And they looked pretty sharp for the first game.
They really did. They really did. And a lot of that I look at their defense held Imhotep in check, and also the quarterback having that experience for the Cougars.
Blair, your impressions of the first half?
Well, I thought Harrisburg did a great job of getting penetration. They played the whole game inside Imhotep's backfield. The receiver did a great job catching the ball down the field. So they had some big plays that kind of set the tempo for Harrisburg. Now, Imhotep, they was having some success getting outside on the edge with the little tall sweep. But you can't make a living against this type of defense. So they had some early success, but they got to find a way to put some first downs together so they can control the clock a little bit.
All right, let's take a look at some of the first half highlights. And Harrisburg is a game, a team of big plays, and they came right out of the box in that first quarter. We're going to take a look at this, I think, 79-yard touchdown pass to Donnell Enriquez, because this really kind of set the tone for this first half.
And no doubt that's the biggest play of the football game so far. And in my opinion, the second biggest play is the fumble down on the goal line when Imhotep's knocking on the door ready to score.
And that made it 7-0. Harrisburg was on top. And the Cougars continued to dominate. You watch some of the big time. I mean, they were swarming the ball defensively here, Blair.
That turnover right there was crucial because Imhotep was trying to have some success.
Here's the big one too, Blair.
You think the quarterback would have be more conscious of it and control the ball,
yes.
But that turnover kind of took the wind out of their sail a little bit.
And there was the run back there by Donnell Enriquez. Here comes the sprint to the left side, the hitch corner route, and they throw the corner. Great timing, good pass and catch. Made it 14-0 Harrisburg. Here, this is the same play, I believe, from a different angle.
Yes, it is.
Another look from down low.
It's hard to stop that corner route with that much room out there. If the quarterback throw a good ball, it's going to be completed every time.
Now here's a little option here. And the interception by Enriquez, who had those first two plays. And then here is the touchdown by Micah Parsons. Big physical run.
That just showed his power, his strength, his speed, right off tackle. Just great job by that kid running downhill.
So Harrisburg's got the lead. When we come back, we're going to talk about the upcoming schedule and talk Penn State football with Dave Jones from Penn Live. 20-0 Harrisburg as we continue live here on ABC 27 and PCN from Harrisburg High.
Karen has 459 friends, but none of them made sure she got home okay. None of them suggested she skip the next drink, try a glass of water, or maybe just call it a night. Karen has 459 friends, but tonight, what she really needed was one good one.
These past few years have been tough on all of us. You worry about the economy, your job, your savings. You may even have given up on your dream of owning your own home. But don't give up just yet. We're PHFA. We help people realize their dreams of owning their own home with features like competitive interest rates, down payment and closing cost assistance, and even free home ownership counseling. PHFA can make your dream of home ownership finally come true. Find us on the web or call us to find out how.
I'm Brian Hudson, and we're PHFA. Welcome home.
Hi, I'm Melissa. I teach 10th grade English.
And I'm Melissa when she was in 10th grade at Connections Academy.
That was the year my teachers changed the way I looked at literature.
These books are amazing.
At Connections Academy, the great courses and all of the personal attention really made a difference.
Our class discussions opened my eyes.
In fact, my Connections Academy teachers inspired me so much, I became one myself.
Here, you're gonna need these.
Commonwealth Connections Academy, the tuition-free public cyber school.
At Pizza Hut, our original pan dough rises fresh every day, making it crispy on the outside, soft and chewy on the inside. And now you can get our original pan as part of the $6.99 any deal. That's 2 medium pizzas with any toppings, any crust, any specialty for just $6.99 each. Only at Pizza Hut.
The Advanced Hoops training staff features Division I level instructors and coaches who have played professionally. Charlie Fortney's shooting instruction has proven transformational for players in South Central PA. Gerald Jarman takes players to the next level in his dribbling and crossover intensity classes. Archie Smith teaches intense speed and agility and is very motivational. 6'9" Duke McCamey is excellent at teaching young post player technical skills around the basket.
Over 30 years of Division I and professional experience. It doesn't get any better than that.
And welcome back to Harrisburg High. Greg Mace with you, Blair Thomas and Ford Chapman also in the booth with us. We're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming schedule here because for many years, a number of years, we just did football on ABC 27.3. Charlie Fortney from High School Sports Live, Director of Advanced Hoops, joining us. Great high school schedule. I think certainly the best we've had in years. We've got a doubleheader coming up next week. Coatesville, Cumberland Valley, then Harrisburg, McDevitt, back-to-back days.
Yeah, you just saw on the screen the Coatesville Cumberland Valley game is going to be live on TV next week. But what a great first start. Imhotep versus Harrisburg and all the Penn State recruits. Blair Thomas helping us kick it off. Ford Chapman, yourself. What a great start. Best start we've ever happened to High School Sports Live. But this schedule is exciting because even some of the games on the schedule, like Middletown at East Pennsboro, Middletown in the state championship last year, Steel High is said to have the best team they've had in years, may win single A this year. They'll be at Trinity. Trinity had a great start their first game this past week, won handedly, and a nice game. Greg, I know you have an affection for is Hershey versus Milton Hershey Cocoa Bean Bowl. There'll be 10,000 in attendance. Just a great schedule this year. And Harrisburg featured 4 times this year. Last one, Cumberland Valley, Harrisburg, could mean the Mid-Penn Commonwealth on the High School Sports Live schedule.
Right, all you got to do is go to the website. And again, a doubleheader coming up next weekend. Coatesville, Cumberland Valley, Harrisburg, McDevitt, and then right down the line, Middletown, McDevitt, Cedar Cliff, Steel High, Trinity. Going to wrap up with a 6A championship, district championship on November the 25th.
Yep. And they can go see ABC27.com has the schedule on their website or HSSLiveTV.com to watch it live.
All right, let's talk Penn State football. David, nice to see you.
Buddy.
Dave Jones from Penn Live and the Patriot News. We've been together a long time. My gosh, how many?
I don't know about together, but it's
well,
a
not
long
together.
time.
Like we've been covering the same thing together, right? Listen, there's a lot of hype about this Penn State season. What is your realistic expectation here? Are you on the sense that this could be a great year?
Well, there's 2 things. This is a really good team, and they know they're a good team, and they have confidence now. Unlike it's been a long time since they've had this kind of confidence going into a season. But the other thing, so I don't think expectations are going to bother them. I think they're going to embrace the expectations. I think they want to do actually better than they did last year. But the other thing is the schedule and other teams, especially on the road, out to get them. Especially Ohio State. But there are no tap-ins on the road schedules. 5 games, and there are 5 really, dicey games for them. So it's a lot to expect them to do too much better, but I think they've got a chance to certainly be in the race for the East, and I picked them 10-2. I just don't know if they can get by all those road games with everyone shooting at them now.
And they got Akron in the first game, and then you got Pitt, which is really...
Is that what we're calling that now, Akron?
Right, which is what James Franklin, when they asked James Franklin about the schedule ahead, he goes, I'm only thinking about Akron. And then Pitt, which is great to have them back on the schedule for at least a little while.
Yeah, and they... Forget them beating Penn State last year. They beat Clemson. They beat the defending national titleists. So they believe too. But I would be concerned about the first road game at Northwestern. I think Northwestern's a really good team with a quarterback who's played a couple of years, who's probably due to have a bust-out season. That is a seminal game there. If they can get by Northwestern in Chicago in the road Big Ten opener, that'll be huge. But they still got to go to Ohio State. They've got to even the games that look like they're easy at Maryland. Maryland is going to be their rivalry game at the end of the season now, and Maryland takes it seriously, and they're recruiting, and they don't have an easy road game, not even one.
With Dave Jones from Penn Live, give me your take on the James Franklin contract extension.
Well, he deserves it. It absolutely deserves it. I mean, the going rate right now says that he should be a top 5 coach pay-wise in college football, and he is. I mean, he took this place from a stage not only of wins and losses, but an attitude place where people were divided, people were coming apart, and his relentless positivity, which, you could look at his salesmanship. Whatever works, man. It's whatever works. And this has worked for him. So you got to hand it to him. Pay the man.
Exactly. Hey, good to see you. We'll see you next Saturday.
Yeah, this is a hell of a game, isn't it? Donnell Henriquez show.
Oh, my gosh. This is, and what a great atmosphere.
Yeah,
high school crowd.
Huge crowd.
Terrific.
Crowd.
All right. Dave Jones from the PennLive.com and the Patriot News joining us. We'll be back. Second half coming up. Harrisburg's up 20-0.
Do you want answer that?
Nah, I'd never with a kid in the car.
It's okay. I'm not here. I'm there.
For all those pokers, prodders, shuckers, and sniffers, All Giant Produce is triple checked. Farm, crate, and store. We're focusing on fresh, so you don't have to guess. My Giant. Save big on all of your game day favorites. Only at Giant, a proud sponsor of High School Sports Live.
Did you know all electronics must be recycled? It's the law. But more importantly, it's the right thing to do.
At the Recycling Center, Dauphin County residents can recycle older broken TVs, computers, cell phones, laptops, major appliances, even paper.
The Recycling Center is conveniently located on Cameron Street in Harrisburg. It makes recycling fast, safe, and simple.
Stop by the Dauphin County Recycling Center today and help us recycle the right way.
The Advanced Hoops training staff features Division I level instructors and coaches who have played professionally. Charlie Fortney's shooting instruction has proven transformational for players in South Central PA. Gerald Jarman takes players to the next level in his dribbling and crossover intensity classes. Archie Smith teaches intense speed and agility and is very motivational. 6'9" Duke McCamey is excellent at teaching young post player technical skills around the basket.
Over 30 years of Division I and professional experience. It doesn't get any better than that.
Our Capital Regions Insurance Agency halftime statistics. And we take a look. Total yards. Harrisburg's got the edge. Rushing yards are even. That's the week 0 penalties. 3 turnovers for Imhotep. First downs, Harrisburg has the edge. The passing yardage, clear edge for Harrisburg. And of course, that big 79-yard touchdown had a big influence in that. Your take on the stats, gentlemen?
It really stands out, the turnovers. Anytime you turn the ball over 3 times, it's hard to bounce back off of that, and that's just in the first half. You know, the quarterback going in to score, and the quarterback coughs it up. You can't have that and expect to be in a football game, and that's the big thing that stands out for me.
Absolutely, and now the score being 20-0, you're down 3 scores, and young, inexperienced Imhotep team with a lot of talent. They're going to have to, you can't say let's get it all back at once. That's the old cliche, but you've got to be able to cut this lead to 2 scores and have enough time to work your way back into the football game.
That's the key. That's the key is don't try to go get it all at once. You know, be patient and play the football game.
And it goes back to this. The barber shop that has been around for a decade and a half now in Steelton Hair, their first T-shirt, their slogan said, "Come in JV, leave varsity." And even if you don't win the game for Imhotep, you got to get a big second half to build on a whole season ahead of you. So obviously you're playing to win, but you want to at least come out here with a lot of positive points in the second half because there's a lot of football left to be played this football season.
Yeah, they lost a lot of seniors last year. That's why they're a junior-heavy team. So, you know, when things like that, you got to remember that it's a building. Every year is a building process. So those guys.
Good point. And they could have taken an easy game for week 0 and come out 1-0. But that's not what their coach wanted. He wanted to see where they are right now. And they're going to build on this. And these young players are going to get a lot more experience. It's going to help them a great deal playing a caliber team of Harrisburg.
Take a look at some of the first responders from Harrisburg, from the fire department. Got a great view from their truck, and we thank them for coming out. And now the Cougars are up on the sideline. They're ready to go, and Imhotep Charter is ready to go as well. Greg Mace, joined by longtime area coach, the man who coached Bishop McDevitt to the state title back in 1993? 5, oh my gosh, 1995, I was close. And Blair Thomas from Penn State, National Football League. Saw you play in many a bowl game.
National champs.
That was one of the great moments I know of your life and of my career covering that game. Man, I remember that like it was an hour ago.
January 2nd, 1987. The first bowl game not played on the customary, everybody play on January 1st. Every once in a while, if January 1st falls on a Sunday, it would be January 2nd. But they said to put this Fiesta Bowl game all by itself. And 2 undefeated teams, and Penn State playing great defense, getting 5 turnovers, 5 interceptions from Vinny Testaverde, the Heisman Trophy winner, and they pulled off a 14-10 shocker as touchdown, a little bit over touchdown dogs.
Were you nervous when Vinny was driving downfield?
Oh, you had to be. We was on the sideline, clinched, arm to arm, interlock.
And who made the big play, the first big hit of the game? Blair and I talked about earlier on Michael Irvin after a post he caught over the middle in the first quarter. Ray Isom, Harrisburg's own Ray Isom.
Years later, I got a chance to work a couple football camps with some of the guys that played on that team. He was like, man, that Ray Isom, he's out there hitting people.
A little quick squibber comes to Imhotep, and that is St. McLeod scrambling to get the football, and they'll get decent field position here.
Yeah, but I think he ran more yards laterally than he did downhill.
Brian Blades, Brett Perriman, and obviously Michael Irvin with the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, and also in the backfield, Alonzo Highsmith and Melvin Bratton. Some of those receivers were talking trash to the Penn State D-backs because they were so short. Ray Isom, Duffy Cobbs, etc. They weren't talking trash after the game.
Remember the steak fry? Oh, we got stories from the steak fry when those guys walked out. The Miami team. I was standing right in front of Jimmy Johnson. Well, enough of the old stories. Let's get back to the game. And here is Carl Jones from the outside. Cuts back, spins, and picks up about 3 yards.
Jerome Brown led that walk out of the stakeout, but I won't of the steak fry, but I will give him this. It was said that Jerome Brown, is this true? Jerome Brown came into your locker room afterwards and congratulated the Penn State players, I heard.
I did not see him if that did happen.
Okay, but I did hear that, yeah. The former Philadelphia Eagle, Jerome Brown, unfortunately died in a Corvette accident, tested a Corvette in Philadelphia with his relative.
2nd and 7. Imhotep Charter looking to get on the board.
Not enough guys on the line of scrimmage. Now they're moving the outside guy up there. Okay now.
Screen far side goes to Young. Short of the first down.
Third time we've seen that exact X screen there.
Yeah, it seemed like the timing is just a little off, which you can see in the first game. You want that thing to be hitting you. That receiver should be coming back to the quarterback so he can get up inside that funnel. But it's like he kind of waited for the ball, and then he kind of exploded up the field.
It was a long pass.
Yeah.
Quarterback to receiver. Plus, let's remember, this Harrisburg defense pursues very well.
On 3rd and 3. Sutton Christian in the backfield. This is Carl Jones. Looks like he's got the first down across midfield.
See, that's what I think they got to do. They got to put some first downs together and keep Harrisburg, the offense, off the field so they can try to get back into this game. Because right now, they putting together a good drive coming out of the half.
Here they go, no huddle. Look for the little toss to the right. Head coach Nick Lincoln signaling in the play after the first set. There it is. There's the toss to the right. Old bet.
Jones got to pick it up off the floor, and he lost a couple of yards.
It's so important what Blair was talking about, stringing first downs together, that you have yourself in a good down and distance situation, and that fumble with the ball there causes them to be in a 2nd and 12. We talked about it early in the game, shooting yourself in the foot. That's what Imhotep was trying to avoid and trying to strive for consistency with an inexperienced football team.
2nd and 12 for Imhotep. And the quarterback going to keep it on Sutton Christian.
You got to be careful with that football. He had it kind of loose in there.
We already alluded to halftime to the 3 first half turnovers by Imhotep, which are a big difference in this football game so far. Harrisburg defense doing the job, coming in, playing as advertised. Kept the shutout. For those of you joining us late, Harrisburg was up 7-0. Imhotep knocking the door. They had a run down to the 1 yard line. Running back fumbles the football. Harrisburg recovers in the end zone. takes over from their own 1, and since then had 2 more scores, and they're up 20-0 here in the third quarter.
And another big third down for Imhotep. Deep to the sideline, that is incomplete. Tyke Smith was the intended receiver.
Now that play, not a bad design, but they're throwing into the short side of field. Not a lot of room there, Blair, on the sideline.
That was the first time that the quarterback didn't have pressure in his face to throw a pass. So the offensive line did a great job. That play right there of protecting the quarterback, just into, like you said, into the short side of the field. You got to be accurate when you're throwing it into the short side of the field.
And you need to throw that a little bit quicker. He waited a little bit too long because he didn't have a lot of room on that sideline.
So the Panthers will punt. Ronald Kent is deep. Ronald Kent will call for the fair catch, and he'll let it bounce, and then he'll pick it up.
That was actually close to being interference on the Imhotep player. You got to give that guy room to catch it. Kent didn't have much room there.
I guess they learned from the first time when he didn't fair catch that. He got some guts and he'll take it and run.
Hey, we remind you that today's broadcast is sponsored in part by Groff Tractor, Pizza Hut, Advanced Hoops, Highmark, and the Brenner family of dealerships, and our presenting sponsor, PHFA. We thank all of our sponsors for getting this on all year long so you can watch high school football, basketball, and wrestling here on ABC 27. 1st and 10 for Harrisburg. There's the give to Plant. Jameer Plant with a solid game offensively. Had a couple of nice defensive plays here.
I see a difference when they run the ball than when Imhotep run the ball. He came downhill. He was trying to make some movement. He had a mindset that he was going to get 3 or 4 yards, no matter if anyone touched him or blocked for him.
Going up top, looking, and almost picked off. Carl Jones was kind of cutting across, and
great movement by the free safety there. Covered the Penn State recruit, covered a lot of ground there. Number 3, Iseem Young.
Yes, that was great concentration by the receiver to catch that ball.
I thought it went into Carl Jones's hands. Man, falling back.
He did catch it.
Maurice Glenn. Wow, that was like an optical.
Here's a good look at it. Another view from the end zone copy.
That was an optical illusion.
Wow.
Get back.
Encroachment on the defense.
And they'll get another 5 yards out of that.
This is why it's so important that early in the season, Blair, during your preseason camp, to do a lot of long cadences. You know, go on ball movement. Don't just go on sound. These guys are chomping at the bit to get across that neutral zone and get into the backfield. You got to wait for the snap of the football if you're a defender.
On 1st down, here's Parsons. Breaks a tackle. Look at him bounce off of people for a 1st down.
Great strong run.
That shows his power right there, because he should have been stopped early in the backfield, but he kept his feet moving.
Like
he's down. Yeah, he's down.
Hopefully just a cramp in the leg. Yep, cramp in the calf. He's all right, just a cramp.
It is not super hot out here today, but it's getting a little humid, and it's still summertime.
But that's the carryover from camp. These guys been in camp working hard, pushing each other, and now they get into a game situation. They so excited, the adrenaline is flowing, so they're losing a lot of, sweat and not conscious of it. So that's typical early in the season.
And for all you young players at home, this is why liquids are so important. The more water you can get in your system, even days before the game. Don't wait until you're thirsty.
Yeah, you got to preload, is what we call preloading. You got to do that all during the week. Try to get some electrolytes in your system, so you can, ward off some of those cramps.
And Parsons will be back.
The problem is, once you get a big cramp like that, Blair, it's tough when you do come back.
Yes, I agree.
Right?
Yeah, you have a tendency to do that.
Look at the crowd is in some spots too deep around this fence. Yeah, this is just great. This is a great atmosphere.
4 wideouts for the Cougars. 3 to the wide side. Look at him elude the rush. We talked about that. So good being able to elude the rush and get downfield. He didn't throw it there. Lost about 3 yards, Greg.
Yep, Wilkerson was doing the scrambling, cutting to his left. He, of course, is a southpaw.
Somebody else is cramping up.
We'll see who that is on the far side. That is Donnell Enriquez. He's the guy who has 2 of the touchdowns and a big pick. Take a break. 20 to nothing. Harrisburg on top, 3rd quarter.
The Advanced Hoops training staff features Division I level instructors and coaches who have played professionally. Charlie Fortney's shooting instruction has proven transformational for players in South Central PA. Gerald Jarman takes players to the next level in his dribbling and crossover intensity classes. Archie Smith teaches intense speed and agility and is very motivational. 6'9" Duke McCamey is excellent at teaching young post player technical skills around the basket.
Over 30 years of Division I and professional experience. It doesn't get any better than that.
What were you thinking, Chuck?
You're not 18 anymore.
Is my leg supposed to bend like that?
6 months on the heating pad. I hope it was worth it.
I wonder if cartilage grows back.
Yep, that's gonna break right in half.
This looks so easy on TV.
Back live on ABC 27.3 and PCN. Greg Mace, Blair Thomas, Ford Chapman. The big games of the weekend. Imhotep Charter here at Harrisburg High.
Blitzing up front. 6 men coming. They got the flare.
Plant. Got back to the line of scrimmage and a little bit more.
A really nice play to have when you have the blitz to throw to the flare back and get him one-on-one with a defender. I thought Imhotep defended that well, Blair.
Yes, they did. That play right there is designed to get outside to us, the old tall sweep, but now you're doing it with the back running. He's on the run. You got to get some good blocking on the outside.
3rd and 8.
On 3-by-1.
Looking deep. Nice catch. Did he stay in? No. Reese Glenn.
Back shoulder fade there.
Yes,
now, Harrisburg
to...
does not have their punter. I don't know who the next punter is going to be because Mike is still down with the cramps. You know, we have kicking the ball as the good wide receiver here, Shaquan Anderson Butts. Let's see if he's going to be in the punt or they may go for it on 4th and 8.
Well, it looks like that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Without Micah Parsons in the punt.
The other option you may have is the quick kick from shotgun with the quarterback. Let's see what they do here. He's normal depth. They're going to go for it.
Wilkerson going way up top, looking downfield, and it is caught for a touchdown. Shaquan Anderson Butts.
Wow. That's all you can do is ask for your guy to go get it. And that play right there was a design deep ball. Guy had good position. Guy just was stronger and went up and got it.
36 yards for Anderson Butts.
You had Michael Dargan, the D-back there on coverage, but then you also had coming over was Isheem Young. Couldn't get there quickly enough as the free safety, and yeah, he high-pointed the football.
It looked like he may be cramping up as well.
So they're going to go for 2 without a kicker? Or does Butts does the place kicking, but
yeah, they're going to good call, Greg. Yep, they're going to go for 2 here, up 26. Try to put it on the even number 28, which would be 4 touchdowns and 4 extra points. But they're going to do so without their 2 biggest offensive threats, aside from their quarterback, who are both down now with cramps, Parsons and Anderson Butts.
So Wilkerson will work out of the shotgun.
5 wide. delay a game.
Yep.
That actually will give them, with 5 wide, it'll give them more room to operate.
Yeah.
It's not a horrible penalty. Create a little bit more room. Make Imhotep have more room to cover.
The conversion for 2. There's Wilkerson scrambling, looking, and he's going to throw it up in the air almost. Boy, he almost made something out of nothing there.
And you have nothing to lose there in the high school game. Throw it up because you can't return it, unlike college.
Just going for 2.
Groff Tractor is your full-line equipment dealer representing Case Construction and many other leading brands, serving the total sales, rental, parts, and service needs of its customers. Groff Tractor paves the way for your projects from start to finish. With 11 locations, Groff Tractor is always close by your equipment needs. Groff also offers 24/7 field service. Groff Tractor is your #1 source for everything under construction.
Today's broadcast is sponsored in part by OSS Health, Giant Foods, Capital Region Insurance Agency, Hoffman Ford, Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board, and Connections Academy.
Well, it's Harrisburg High's afternoon. Some of the crowd up against the fence, and these fans have been enjoying the touchdowns and the dominance by Harrisburg. There's Micah Parsons on the sideline who had the cramp. He's walking, but rather gingerly. How long does it take to get? It varies from person to person to get that out of your system, obviously.
Well, I tell you, I had some cramping problems in my day, and you know, sometimes you can bounce back. You got to make sure you stay loose.
Oh, that was short there, and
for Micah Parsons, with a 26-0 lead by the Cougars right now, unless Imhotep puts a dent in here, I wouldn't be surprised if he just stays on that bench because they got another huge game coming up against their arch rival, Bishop McDevitt.
It was like a preseason game. He got his work in,
right,
so he should be done. You know, get some of those younger guys some reps just in case, you know, something
now Imhotep has the
will
ball.
happen in the
Absolutely.
future.
Imhotep has the ball across midfield here on that short kick. Let's see if they can get something going and get back in this football game.
5:57 left here in the third.
Parsons' backup is happy on defense that he gets a chance to play.
4-4 defense.
Scrambling. Still looking, and Sutton Christian's taken down.
You can tell he's a young quarterback because you don't see the urgency. Once the play breaks down and he's outside running the ball, you don't see the urgency of him trying to get away from a possible pursuit on the backside. So I know their coach is going to be working on that next week to make sure he know that, okay, if it's not there, you got to go.
You guys talked about what a great experience this is for both teams. This is not a game that doesn't count, but it's a preseason leading into your league. And what great experience on both sides of the ball to have this quality of a game coming right out of the gate.
Sure, and I don't believe Imhotep's used to playing in front of this many people. It's a great opportunity for them. Plus on a TV audience, I mean, great exposure for these kids.
Well, from what I understand, they draw more than, you know, a lot of teams in the Philadelphia area.
Here's your Wildcat. That was your first time we saw it today. We were expecting it at some point in the game.
Tyke Smith.
Yep, lined up at Wildcat. And keeper around left end for a big game, but then there's more hankies on the field.
They had to make one of those flags that just print week 0 on it.
Yes.
How about it? A special one. Well, we talked earlier off camera that perhaps the PIAA will say, all right, let's move everything back, and week 0 will actually become week 1 to shorten the season a little bit.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see that at some point, no doubt about it. Now with 6 classifications for the second year. Pennsylvania's always had 4, starting in 1988 when the state playoffs initiated in our state. Pittsburgh Central Catholic beating Cedar Cliff for the first ever Quad A state championship.
At Beaver Stadium.
Yep. They played at 4 different locations.
That's one thing that I wish I got an opportunity to experience is a playoff system that takes you to the state. We didn't have it back then. You know, it was just one of those things where you have to be content with being public league champs.
Sure.
In the inner
That's
city.
going to be a penalty. That guy's in motion. They weren't set. There should be a flag here. Yep. 2 men in motion.
Well, Young carried the ball. And it's a fumble, and Harrisburg says they've got the ball.
They'll obviously decline that penalty.
Yeah.
So you can tell it's week 1. Now you got a penalty and a turnover on the same play.
It's no motion like the Canadian Football League here, kids. Can't do that. So Harrisburg gets it back. $26-0 Cougars. Glad you're with us here on ABC 27. Welcome everybody across the state on PCN and online. As we said, people are lined up against the fence and stands are packed on this near side where we are. Watching a nice performance by the Cougars coming out in their first game.
This stadium was fixed up, renovated back in 2003 when George Chomp came back to Harrisburg. He was the former coach at John Harris High School from 1963 through 1967 prior to going to join Ohio State, Woody Hayes' staff. And this stadium is just, they switched home and away sides. They have a humongous home side bleacher set up here at Severance Field.
I tell you what, it's a beautiful venue here. For a high school field, I really enjoy it. I mean, I like the field.
Got an indoor field house to our right.
It's unbelievable. This is nice.
Second down for Harrisburg.
I grew up here with my dad coaching here as an assistant with George Chomp and Mickey Minnick as a young kid with Jamie and Rob Dibler. Their dad, Jim Dibler, coached as an assistant as well before going to Steel High. And condolences to the whole Dibler family and the whole Steel High community losing a heck of a guy. Rob Dibler passed away suddenly here recently at the age of 52.
It's one of the,
and he'll be missed.
Yeah, one of the sad moments. I remember covering Rob when he was a quarterback at Steel High and then had just great success as a coach. So our thoughts to the entire Dibler family. There's Glenn, Reese Glenn on the near sideline.
It'll be a half a yard short unless they mark it.
Yeah, it will be short. Well, it'll be 4th and inches, as you heard Dave Berman say on the PA. Keeper. Oh, he's got that.
And then some. It looked like they stopped his initial surge, but then that offensive line kicked in gear, and then they got that movement.
And he got a little push from his running back coming from behind him, and which is now legal, by the way, recently in high school football, and moves the chains, which reminds me of the old Steve Spurrier teams from Florida, Blair, a little bit after your college career. But when Steve got it going there in the 90s at Florida, they'd really be a high-powered offense in the first half, and then to get that lead, and they'd wear you down with the running game to chew clock and move the chains and keep possession of the ball. The Gators would in the second half.
So that's why I'm a firm believer. You still got to establish some type of run game under center.
Absolutely.
For those times where when you get that large lead, you need to manage the clock now. So
sure.
Putting them under center, give them an opportunity to get get a fullback in the game, get your tailback some more carries, get some of your younger guys some experience.
And earlier we referred to Penn State's great season they had last year, and you said it, what a great job Coach Moorhead did as the offensive coordinator. The other thing, in the Big Ten championship game and in the Rose Bowl, they came from behind and battled. Yep, and were able to face adversity, and that's a great sign of a good program.
Wilkerson, left-handed pump, and that is incomplete.
It's been almost all Harrisburg here so far, Greg. start the season at Severance Field.
26-0. Dominant performance, some big plays, and a great defensive effort as well. They have swarmed the ball. Now without Micah Parsons, who still shaking out those cramps, but Blair, I think, like you said, he got his work in, and that's probably plenty enough for this game.
See, the key to this game has been the turnovers. You know, Imhotep had 4 turnovers. You can't have 4 turnovers, just like we talked about earlier, the Miami, Penn State, Miami game with Vinny Testaverde with the 5 interceptions.
Sure, that big play.
You cannot expect to win with that many turnovers.
Absolutely. That big play was by linebacker Omar Speets. He was an all-state defensive end as a sophomore last year. They moved him to Mike linebacker, and he got through there quickly and made that big tackle for loss for the Panthers.
Guy who's going to be one of the top recruits in the country. Not graduating till 2019. Got a couple years left. To the air. And that is incomplete. So that will bring up a 4th down for Harrisburg.
And let's see who punts the ball. It's going to be number 80, DeJane Amy. The backup punter is going to punt this one away. He's a senior DB.
And Hashim Young will be deep for Imhotep Charter. So a nice punt. And it'll take a bit of a Harrisburg bounce, and they'll down at about the 30-yard line, where Imhotep Charter will try to get on the board. 1:23 left here in this 3rd quarter, and it's been a fun game, but we're out here for 2+ hours now. I mean, this is a long game, and it's the first game. These kids got to be a little bit tired, I would think.
No doubt.
Well, you're conditioning. You're not used to playing, the series the way you have. They're forced to change the possession. A lot of these kids are going both ways, so they probably haven't pushed themselves this hard yet this year. You can see by the guys coming away with cramps.
So Imhotep Charter looking to spark a little something. They need a big play. They need a big play to get going here. Screen tip, and it is intercepted.
They were looking for the tight end down the middle, number 42. Jaden Williams.
Tashim Isom.
Tashim Isom.
That may be a relative.
Yes.
What a pedigree. It wasn't just Ray Isom, player. So, there was a Ricky Isom, went to NC State, Ray's older brother, and he had another older brother, can't name off the top of my head, but also was a big-time athlete. And a nice family of athletes the Isom family was.
Okay, here we go. So it's 1st and 10 for the Cougars.
Ray Isom wore number 14 here as a Cougar, and then 22 as an Indy Lion, a 3-year starter at free safety. And culminating in a national championship.
Great teammate.
Wilkerson throws. It's complete to Glenn. Now Reese Glenn. He'll be short of the 1st down. So it'll be 2nd down for the Cougars. Marching downfield again. Oh, man, big hit.
Spates again. There's that Spates. He's a player. That's why he was All-State as a sophomore last year.
Losing his helmet was Dana Purdy Jr. That was some hit and some helmet flying off. Wow.
Also in the, I think, might have been, looked like Aishin Young as well. 2 very big-time defenders for the Panthers. Sharp helmets they have there. Remind me a little bit of Illinois' helmet.
And in the process of the helmet flying, he gets the 1st down.
Here's your bubble.
Right through the hands of Isaiah Sawyers. Now watch this hit. In and whoa.
Oh, that was Young. That was Young. Yeah, Space was there, but that was Young. He's going to Penn State.
Legal hit,
Sure was.
So it'll be 2nd and 10 for Harrisburg. Getting some other guys into the mix here now with the game in control. Handoff. It goes to Plant. Picking up some nice yardage. Looks like he might have the first down. Young was in on the stop. Good acceleration to the outside. There's that hit again. There's the last play. And that is the end of the third quarter. 26-0 Harrisburg. High School Sports Live continues on ABC 27.
Did you know all electronics must be recycled? It's the law. But more importantly, it's the right thing to do.
At the Recycling Center, Dauphin County residents can recycle older broken TVs, computers, cell phones, laptops, major appliances, even paper.
The Recycling Center is conveniently located on Cameron Street in Harrisburg. It makes recycling fast, safe, and simple.
Stop by the Dauphin County Recycling Center today and help us recycle the right way.
Big game coming up on ABC 27 next weekend. Coatesville and Cumberland Valley. Archie Smith on the sideline with the opposing coach. Archie.
Guys, I'm here with Matt Ortega, head coach of Coatesville Red Raiders. Big win last night, 34-7, beating Simon Gretz, gearing up for a showdown next week on High School Sports Live versus Cumberland Valley. Coach, give us your thoughts on that.
We're real excited to be able to come back to Harrisburg and play a tough opponent like Cumberland Valley, and they came down and played us last year and put a whipping on us. So hopefully this year we can come up here and represent. And it's going to be a great game. Both teams are coming in as two of the top teams in the state. So we're hoping we can have a great game and definitely setting up a big showdown as a big game across the state of Pennsylvania.
Thank you. Guys, you heard it from the coach himself. Back to you.
All right, Arch, thanks. You'll see that game live on ABC 27.3 coming up next weekend.
Matt Ortega went to Steel High, transferred to Central Dauphin, was a quarterback at both places, and then went to St. Francis and got under Scott Feldman at Lancaster McCaskey, and then came to Harrisburg to be the defensive coordinator for George Chomp in 2003, and then got his first head job at York High. And after leaving York High, he got the job at Coatesville. He's really gotten that Coatesville program back on a roll. Done a heck of a job. And now his son, as I alluded to earlier, is a sophomore starting quarterback in his second year as a starter.
Scott Feldman's daughter, Ashley, was an intern with me.
How about that? She got a full ride she played high school basketball at Collingswood, New Jersey, and got a full ride to Northeastern University, where she was a multi-year starter and had a heck of a career there.
And now she is doing morning drive radio in Boston as a morning drive host.
That?
Yeah.
How about that?
She was one of my fun interns. So here we go, fourth quarter.
Bubble screen.
And the pass to the Cougars.
Holding on the outside at the goal line.
Sawyers was on the end of the pass.
We're going to bring it back. It'll be first and goal from about the 12 or 13-yard line.
That's a long block to hold out there.
Sure is, isn't it?
Especially when you got a guy looking where the receiver's going and you're trying to block him.
Not only that, Blair, they had to play action before they even threw it. So it takes even a little bit longer. And we saw Imhotep have a positive gain and then got called back for the hold. Now we're seeing on the other side.
So against the Cougars, who continue to be in control and continue to dominate and have really put on an impressive performance here, coming out of the gates in their first game.
With the yards that play got, it was a great place selection by the coordinator.
Absolutely. That's Tim Boblik. Blair was referring to the OC here for the Cougars.
Jameer Plant.
Boblik sends the plays down to head coach Calvin Everett, who sends him into the field to his experienced signal caller, who's having a great game today, Ymir Wilkerson. We expected it, and he delivered.
So that'll bring up second down.
Harrisburg electing not to huddle here. They just go right up, get the signals in, and 2 to each side as the 4 wide set. Motion to trips.
Wilkerson scrambling out of trouble and gets up back to the 10-yard line.
Maybe a late hit. Sure is.
That is, yep. Pulled him down out of bounds once he was out of bounds. Pretty blatant there, and they'll get more penalty yardage. Be a little frustration on the part of Imhotep, I'm sure. Yep. Pretty clear.
It'll be now from the 8-yard line, they'll go to the 4, obviously half the distance. And they'll remain second and goal from the 4. Automatic first down, actually. First and goal from the 4. On a personal foul.
Looking to add to the 26-0 lead. Spinning, that was plan again. I think he sort of spun maybe a little too soon.
Well, he had to elude that defender that was coming up the gap, A-gap. It's like he spun so fast,
you're right.
he couldn't get his feet.
I was never a running back.
Great play by Samir Williams.
I only played 2 years of line in the 7th and 8th grade. I couldn't figure out the plays.
Double tight, double flanker set. This is running set almost all the way here on second and short. Legal procedure, Greg, against the Cougars.
Well, we got to be up in the 18 penalty range, I would think, 18 to 20.
Well, that's always expected on that first game. You've been going against your teammates all camp. You know the quarterback snap count and cadence. So then when you start going against other guys, you got to really lock in.
All right, here comes Sawyer's back in, along with right now Grant.
Harrisburg has a lot of receivers they can go to. Bring in a few replacements now.
And we got a timeout. 26-0 Harrisburg on ABC 27.
Today's broadcast is sponsored in part by OSS Health, Giant Foods, Capital Region Insurance Agency, Hoffman Ford, Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board, and Connections Academy.
The Advanced Hoops training staff features Division I level instructors and coaches who have played professionally. Charlie Fortney's shooting instruction has proven transformational for players in South Central PA. Gerald Jarman takes players to the next level in his dribbling and crossover intensity classes. Archie Smith teaches intense speed and agility and is very motivational. 6'9" Duke McCamey is excellent at teaching young post player technical skills around the basket.
Over 30 years of Division I and professional experience. It doesn't get any better than that.
Starting September the 9th and 10th, Advanced Hoops is offering game-ready 3D basketball training. Advanced Hoops shooting, crossover, intensity, plus position classes will get your players game ready for the upcoming season. To secure your spot, all you got to do is go to advancedhoops.com and register. Back at Harrisburg High, ABC 27, and we welcome everyone on PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Taking some selfies on a great afternoon. Greg Mace, Ford Chapman, Blair Thomas. Glad you were with us on this Saturday afternoon. Hope you've enjoyed the game so far.
Absolutely, it's been an exciting game.
Took his eye off the ball for a moment there. He had
yes, he
catch
did.
Here, Randolph Pryor.
But yeah, Greg's a beautiful day. You just wish they didn't have as many turnovers or penalties. You coming into the season, you got all these great hopes for the year, and you want to clean up. You want to come out there and have a good representation of what you're doing. And you try not to eliminate. You want to eliminate as many mistakes as possible. But I guess it's expected for the first game, and hopefully they can iron it out in week 2.
So it's 3rd and 10 for Harrisburg. Oh, I'm going to hear whistles in my sleep tonight. What was that? It was a whistle.
Encroachment on the defense. half the distance to the goal line. 3rd and goal from it's just inside the 5.
See if I can find a little yellow pocket square to wear on the air on Monday.
Harrisburg going from 5 wide, shifting into a bunch set, and 1 back in the backfield. Corner out.
Looking, throwing up top, and it is caught for the touchdown.
The amazing thing about that play is it looked like the defenders was in great position, but he just threw it over top of their hands, and the receiver was right there to make the easy catch.
Isaiah Sawyers with a touchdown for Harrisburg.
This is not the first year that Wilkerson has been doing this with his feet. He's not just a runner. He'll elude traffic and find a receiver downfield, and he finds a bunch of them. I told you that in the pregame. He doesn't just look for one receiver. He's great at scanning the field and finding some opening. The ad-lib ability by him is phenomenal. Proven there once again.
Well, I think a lot of people thought Harrisburg was probably the favorite coming into this game. They have shown why people felt that way. Not sure if we felt this was going to be a little bit more competitive. Probably did, but it's really been a solid effort on Harrisburg's part. 4th quarter action continues from Harrisburg on ABC 27 and PCN.
No regrets. If only she'd parked in a garage. If only they had the chimney cleaned. If only they had Erie Insurance. Erie is seriously good insurance that treats you fairly and goes above and beyond to make you feel like your auto or home mishap never happened, at rates that'll save you as much as the other guys. So get a quote from Erie today. Because whatever your regrets in life, your insurance company shouldn't be one of them.
Your local Erie agent is Capital Region Insurance Agency. Get a quote at 717-731-1142.
Players from all over the state of Pennsylvania will be trying out for Team Pennsylvania boys and girls AAU teams. Advanced Hoops is the leader in AAU basketball in central Pennsylvania. Tryouts for spring teams are on October the 28th and 29th. For more information, go to advancedhoops.com. Well, it is a very convincing afternoon for the Harrisburg High Cougars.
We had a personal foul. I believe it was roughing the quarterback, so they're going to kick off from the Imhotep 45-yard line.
And that is going to go into the end zone.
Amy, the kicker, the backup kicker, Zane Amy on the kickoff.
And some of this crowd starting to make their way out, knowing that this is well in hand. And back next week for what will be another big game. Coming up, Harrisburg and McDevitt. What was once the Battle of Market Street. Of course, McDevitt moved their school to a beautiful new facility off of Union Deposit Road. And still, I still consider that the city championship.
No doubt. Blair, you'll like this as we get a decent run there by Jones. I became the head coach at McDevitt in 1991. I told our athletic director, Mike Fry, we don't need a bus. We're going to walk down and walk back. And then we did it the next year. And then Harrisburg came to our place in 93. They walked at it. It's been a tradition until the school moved. Everybody walked back and forth. No more buses on that ride. 2.5 blocks down the street, yeah.
Give you a chance to get your mind right.
Darn right, that's right.
That was always great video for us and for TV to watch these teams go back and forth on the street.
The walk home after a loss was absolutely no fun, but there's nothing like the walk home after a victory.
Yes. Now I can imagine there's going to be twice as many people here next week for that game. You know, for Imhotep to travel as far as they did, they do have some fans over there supporting them. But I would imagine McDevitt, that game is going to be
no doubt about it. No doubt. I'll tell you what, Imhotep has, I know it's 33-0, but there's a lot of promise with this football team.
Oh yeah,
without
a doubt. It's just they got to eliminate some of the mistakes they made. because they were crucial mistakes
sure.
that prevent them from putting points on the board thus far.
And still trying to get their first points of the game.
Wildcat again.
Taiki Hashimi Young.
Those two receivers at the top of the screen were both on the line of scrimmage. And if they weren't, there's going to be a penalty for not up on the line.
Yeah, there's a flag on the ground.
Because we had two backs in the backfield with the quarterback, and then we had a motion man. So let's see what he says if those two guys were both on. If not, it looks like Jerry Hocker.
Face mask.
Okay, so they were both on the ball, which means the inside guy's ineligible, but usually a running play, and they had the Wildcat set there.
So it will be 1st and 10.
Here it is again. Watch this. Both receivers at the top need to be on the line of scrimmage, which they are. The inside guy's ineligible because they're going to have a Wildcat set here. They're most likely going to run it.
And they do. And again, it's Young. Got about 3-4 yards. Well, I know it would do Imhotep some good just to get themselves some points on the board, get a little confidence coming out of here.
Absolutely. And that yellow you see on the field are the gold cleats. That's not a flag. Those are the gold cleats of number 4, Jai Burney, the linebacker, the junior linebacker.
Those are spiffy. Wow.
There they are.
Yeah.
Same set. Inside receivers ineligible because you need to have 7 guys on the line of scrimmage.
2nd down. Whoops.
Just get on it.
Yeah, just fell on the ball.
Yeah. You know, guys make that mistake, always trying to pick that ball up, thinking they're going to create something. Cut your losses. Just get on the ball.
The one thing Mark Schmidt, the offensive line coach, said to me when I talked to him a couple days ago about this game, he's Imhotep, former head coach from last year. He mentioned we can't shoot ourselves in the foot. I alluded to it earlier. He said in our scrimmage we'll have 1 good play, 2 good plays. We were trying to put 4, 5, 6 plays together, and they've been notorious for messing up here through a stretch. And that's a young team. You're going to get that a lot with a young football team.
And we got a timeout call. Well, take a look at some of the big hits in this game today. I mean, Harrisburg's been swarming, but take a look at some of these. That's a nice catch he hung on. Down the sideline.
Incomplete pass there on that hit. You know what's coming up, that helmet coming off, Blair.
Yes.
See a nice run by Parsons.
Bouncing off of people.
This is where he cramped up, too. Here it comes.
Bang. Whoops. Helmet went flying off the head of
Nice pressure by the Cougar defense there. Playing with a lot of passion and intensity. Positive. Now we're back to live action.
Williams doing the dance.
Regular quarterback back in for Imhotep.
Going deep, looking way deep, and it is caught.
I don't think that was the intended receiver, quite honestly.
That is Terry for the touchdown. Wow. Yusef Terry.
Well, you said they need something positive to happen.
There you go.
It appeared that to this vantage point from the press box, he was going for the streak down the sideline. No, he came back to him. I saw his, came back to him. Good pass and catch. Sutton Christian, first-year starter, all the way to Yusef Terry for the touchdown. Something to build on for the Panthers of Imhotep Charter. Yusef Terry, a junior wideout, about 6'3", 175. They're going to go for 2.
And they got a marker in the back. In the backfield as Smith was the ball carrier. For you were right. I mean, sometimes you're not conscious of it, but that Harrisburg High band plays the whole game.
Oh, they sure
the
do.
The whole game.
They sure do.
It's great.
And the cheerleaders dance while they're playing. And tell you what, they do it with a lot of passion. And you got to love it. You got to love it. We had the Big 33 pep rally here in June, middle of the week. And it got kicked off by the Harrisburg Cougar members of the band playing in the gymnasium. And that was echoing off the walls and the ceiling, and it was just fabulous. They got a great round of applause when they were finished after their 15 or so minutes of playing.
All right, they'll go for 2 again here.
They can't throw to that inside receiver. They both got to be on the ball because you need 7 on the line. This is that Wildcat set, so to speak.
Gonna look, and he's going to be stopped.
They had 1 receiver to throw to, the guy on the far left outside, and the backs that are in the backfield. That was it.
Jalen Sutton Christian. Out of bounds.
At Pizza Hut, our original pan dough rises fresh every day, making it crispy on the outside, soft and chewy on the inside. And now you can get our original pan as part of the $6.99 any deal. That's 2 medium pizzas with any toppings, any crust, any specialty for just $6.99 each. Only at Pizza Hut.
Did you know all electronics must be recycled? It's the law. But more importantly, it's the right thing to do.
At the Recycling Center, Dauphin County residents can recycle older broken TVs, computers, cell phones, laptops, major appliances, even paper.
The Recycling Center is conveniently located on Cameron Street in Harrisburg. It makes recycling fast, safe, and simple.
Stop by the Dauphin County Recycling Center today and help us recycle the right way.
Well, the crowd has been enjoying it. A little bit more laid back now because it's a Harrisburg-controlled game, 33-6. Glad you're with us here today on ABC 27.3. All of our cable affiliates. We welcome everybody watching all across the state on PCN, Pennsylvania Cable Network, and of course online with streaming all the games this year, as always. And boy, what a difference in high school coverage. You know, we do a 35-minute high school football show. We've done it for 21 years. You see so many games now on television. People are streaming games. People are televising games. It used to be that you'd scramble to get a score. You can see things instantaneously on Twitter. I mean, I know we're dating ourselves, but my gosh, it's just been wonderful progress, and I think that's helped the enthusiasm and the level of the crowds when you have that kind of social media action and the media coverage. It's just great for high school sports.
No doubt.
Technology allows that to happen. Everybody have cameras, and so everybody's filming everything.
A little onside kick. Covered by the Cougars. Postgame coming up. Our giant postgame show, our Pizza Hut play of the game, and we'll have to pick a Hoffman player of the game, Hoffman Ford player of the game, which will be chosen by the staff here in the press box. And by staff, I mean Blair, Ford, and myself.
Well, before we go off the air here, I might as well do it right now. I brought it up off the air with Blair and Greg here. In college, I went to see a late game, late in the season, a day game. Notre Dame Fighting Irish at the Penn State Nittany Lions, 1987. And running back Blair Thomas had a field day. Had to be close to 200 yards rushing.
214.
214, thanks. Against the Heisman Trophy winning Notre Dame kick returner and wide receiver Tim Brown. It was a great game. Notre Dame went for 2 late and didn't get it down at the student section of Penn State. And Penn State eked out a two-point victory. The coldest football game I have ever been associated with. It didn't affect you, did it?
Yes, it did.
I did.
That was the coldest game.
It did not affect me at all because I was in a hot press box.
I mean, it was double-digit below zero.
Oh, yeah.
It was brutal.
And the only thing I could do was I had some tights on, and then I got this big jar of Vaseline. And I just,
oh my gosh,
just try to like lather up your leg to try to make it like an aqua suit so you can keep that warmth inside. And I couldn't put none on your arms, so you have to make sure you got your hands clean afterwards so you can carry the ball.
Quarterback was Matt Kisner out of Hempfield High School in Pittsburgh. Was a big 33 quarterback for the West that year. And I was so cold, had to walk back into town, and I went into you guys accepted a bid to the Citrus Bowl, and I went into the press conference where Joe was talking, and the security said, sir, I said, oh, my dad's on the Citrus Bowl committee. He said, oh, you can stand right here. I warmed up for 15 minutes pretending like my dad was on. That was the guy talking, presented the Citrus Bowl award to Paterno. I got to warm up a little bit before that cold walk back downtown.
I had these hand warmers in there. I didn't wear gloves back then, so it was just one of those days where you get to
How about it? Cut it out,
absorb the elements.
Now I feel guilty. Jones is deep for Imhotep.
McDevitt's Ricky Waters was a freshman player that year for Notre Dame.
Take it, one bounce. There's Jones trying to get to the outside. He's got some running room.
Oh, got blockers in.
Carl Jones still on his feet. Imhotep's got another shot at the end zone.
We had these big blowers on the sideline for that game, and all the guys that was on the sideline was in front of the blowers. And after you came out of the game, if you thought you was going to get in front of one of those blowers, you had another thing coming. Those guys said, we're standing here like doing nothing, and you guys are running around, your blood's circulating and flowing. We're freezing out here.
Well, they're going to bring this back. Well, I'll get you guys to think a little bit about the player of the game. I mean, certainly Daniel Enriquez has had a couple of great touchdowns and some big defensive plays. I'll throw it open to thoughts and ideas.
Plus the fumble recovery.
Yep.
He gets my vote hands down because he's done it on both sides of the ball. Which was out on the interception, the touchdown. So he's just been a complete player.
I'm with you, Blair. He gets my vote as well.
That's 3. Number 7, Daniel Enriquez. There's Jones again.
Called the punt return called back for a penalty. And they're starting in their own territory here, under 4 minutes. Now, what about the play of the game, Craig? And Blair, what do you think about the play of the game?
Well, you know, you can certainly make a case for that first one, which really established the Harrisburg momentum.
No doubt about it, Craig.
That was an unbelievable catch, the one on the sideline right here where we thought it was going to be an interception the other way. We just had a little bad angle, and we saw the separation on that. That was a great catch.
If we can add the most unique play of the game, that was definitely it. I think the play that set the tone for the football game was that seam for a touchdown early in the game. And then the other turning point was obviously that fumble when Imhotep was taking it in to try to tie the score.
Anthony Gordon, number 5. Reminder, we got more football coming up Saturday night. I should say Friday night, Coatesville and Cumberland Valley right here on ABC 27.3. We've got McDevitt, Harrisburg next week, 1 o'clock here on ABC 27. PCN's got their own slate of games on their website. Glad they were with us today, and believe they'll probably be with us again a little bit later in the year for Mid-Penn football. Here's Jones.
See, this is what I thought they should have tried to do earlier in the game, and I guess they were trying to establish the run game, but now it sounds like they're starting to get some movement, but they're not doing it on a consistent basis. But I guess once the game is out of hand, things kind of change anyway.
No doubt about it, Blair, no doubt.
Clock running down. Under 2 minutes to go. Pass is caught. We got a marker along the near sideline. That's Terry on the catch, but yet another penalty.
I'm very interested to see what this could be this far down the field. As the ball was in the air, possibly an offensive or defensive pass interference away from the ball. I don't know what else it could have been because the ball was in the air.
Well, there's some significant yardage being marked off.
Illegal participation. I'm not sure. I know most of the calls, Blair. The two hands behind the back. We have to go to Phil Salusti. He's been texting me a little bit here, an official from the area. Hopefully he texts me on that one. We can tell the crowd. I'm disappointed in myself. I don't know what that one was.
There's Jones again with a football, and
Touchdown.
He is headed for the end zone, and he's got it. Carl Jones.
Great cutback against a lot of the replacements for the Cougars. With Imhotep having their starters in, they're going to make those plays, no doubt.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, with a long season, you know, another tough game next week. You know, Harrisburg doesn't change and put some, you know, subs in, which was good because you need those guys to get some experience as well.
No doubt.
So Imhotep trying to tack on another point here or two. 2-point conversion. Go to the air, and it's Jones again, and he is in. So it's 33-14. Final minute 21 coming up here on ABC 27 from Harrisburg High.
The Advanced Hoops training staff features Division I level instructors and coaches who have played professionally. Charlie Fortney's shooting instruction has proven transformational for players in South Central PA. Gerald Jarman takes players to the next level in his dribbling and crossover intensity classes. Archie Smith teaches intense speed and agility and is very motivational. 6'9" Duke McCamey is excellent at teaching young post player technical skills around the basket.
Over 30 years of Division I and professional experience. It doesn't get any better than that.
Today's broadcast is sponsored in part by OSS Health, Giant Foods, Capital Region Insurance Agency, Hoffman Ford, Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board, and Connections Academy.
An impressive performance from Harrisburg High to kick off the season here in week 0. As Forrest's been mentioning, week 0 in the state of Pennsylvania. Now you have the option to play in this first week, Friday and Saturday night. We had a lot of mid-pen teams playing last night, but everybody will get into full game action starting next Friday night, and our Friday night football show will begin in full next Friday night at 11:30, right after the news on ABC 27.
I got a text from a former Bishop McDevitt quarterback and a current football and basketball official, Jim Bruno. He said that his sideline interference, one of the members of the sideline, coach or player, interfered with the official, thus the 15-yard penalty.
You don't see that much.
Don't see that much, no, you don't. Got to give those officials room to run up and down the sidelines.
Nobody ran out from the sideline and tackled anybody. I've seen those blooper reels.
Oh, yeah.
So Coatesville, Cumberland Valley next week, 7 o'clock, right here on ABC 27, and then Harrisburg and McDevitt. McDevitt with a convincing win last night over Redland. A little revenge from last year's loss.
Cougars just taking a knee. That's all she wrote. One more of those.
Makari Williams gets the experience of getting in there to take a knee. They'll let the clock run down again. There's Ford pointed out there's no play clock here, but he'll just take another knee.
And usually those officials will let that thing run under. They'll let it go another 20 seconds before they even put the ball in play.
Yep.
As a home team, that's always a good feeling to take a knee.
Absolutely. Brandon Levy at Central Dauphin in 2011 in the district final against Wilson. Hershey Stadium took a knee and fumbled the snap. Had to jump on that thing. You got to be careful. But he secured the victory. Had a heck of a junior season there as quarterback that year.
Don't get cute with it, right? Here are the final seconds, and they'll take one more knee, and that will be it. And that is it. The Harrisburg High Cougars come away with an opening game win over Imhotep Charter. A convincing win, an impressive win for Harrisburg, 33-14. We're back with our Giant postgame show after this. You're watching High School Sports Live on ABC 27.
The Brenner family of dealerships gives you better pricing, better customer service, better selection, and a better service department for the life of your vehicle. We'll show you how at Brenner Chrysler Jeep, Brenner Nissan, and Brenner Pre-Owned. The Brenner family of dealerships on the Carlisle Pike, Mechanicsburg, and on Paxton Street, Harrisburg. 24/7 at BrennerFamily.com. Serving Central PA for over 95 years.
What were you thinking, Chuck?
You're not 18 anymore.
Is my leg supposed to bend like that?
6 months on the heating pad. I hope it was worth it.
I wonder if cartilage grows back.
Yep, that's gonna break right in half.
This looks so easy on TV.
Groff Tractor is your full-line equipment dealer representing Case Construction and many other leading brands, serving the total sales, rental, parts, and service needs of its customers. Groff Tractor paves the way for your projects from start to finish. With 11 locations, Groff Tractor is always close by your equipment needs. Groff also offers 24/7 field service. Groff Tractor is your #1 source for everything under construction. The Advanced Hoops training staff features Division I level instructors and coaches who have played professionally. Charlie Fortney's shooting instruction has proven transformational for players in South Central PA. Gerald Jarman takes players to the next level in his dribbling and crossover intensity classes. Archie Smith teaches intense speed and agility and is very motivational. 6'9" Duke McCamey is excellent at teaching young post player technical skills around the basket.
Over 30 years of Division I and professional experience. It doesn't get any better than that.
Our Giant postgame show here on ABC 27 and PCN. 33-14 Harrisburg, and it was a really good start for these guys.
Absolutely.
We're going to take a look at our Pizza Hut play of the game coming up here. And I mean, we were kicking around what could be the play of the game, and there were any number of plays that certainly could be considered. But here's our Pizza Hut play of the game, and it is that play to
that seam route to start the scoring.
Enriquez, 79 yards for the first touchdown of the game. Made it 7-0 Harrisburg as they rolled to a 33-14 victory. That's our Pizza Hut play of the game. Our Hoffman Ford player of the game is that same young man who just had a great game, not only offensively, he made some really nice plays defensively as well. And there's that same play, but he came up with some nice defensive plays. Had another touchdown in the second quarter to make it 14-0. And Danelle Enriquez is our player of the game, our Hoffman Ford player of the game.
And there's his corner out touchdown.
Yep.
Exactly. And then he come back with an interception.
And here it is.
Jumped right up, came back with a ball. Another key play for their victory.
And the fumble recovery down at the goal line when Imhotep was knocking on the door early in the game.
Yep, so both teams now talking it over. Final thoughts for it was just a fun afternoon.
Fun afternoon, enjoyed it, working with you two guys, and I'll tell you what, and the whole crew. And the Harrisburg Cougars are a team to be reckoned with, as we thought. And next week's game against Bishop McNair, we don't have to wait long to see another big one.
You know, you look at this game and you see the turnovers on both, or the penalties on both sides of the ball, but Harrisburg was able to overcome theirs, even though they had a lot of mishaps. So that really shows what kind of team they have. They're going to be a solid team, and they're going to go far, if not, win the championship next at the end of this year.
Darn right.
Guys, thank you. Floor, as always, pleasure to see you. Blair, it's great to see you again.
Nice to see you.
And thanks for coming up and doing the game with us. Our next game coming up Friday, September the 1st, 7 o'clock on ABC 27.3. It's Coatesville and Cumberland Valley, presented by PHFA. Reminder, you can watch this game in their entirety on hsslivetv.com. It'll be posted up there, and you can watch it again. Great afternoon. Great way to start the season. Harrisburg beats Imhotep Charter 33-14. Now for Ford Chapman, Blair Thomas, our entire Invicta crew, and everybody at ABC 27 and PCN. Greg Mays, so long from Harrisburg High. Again, our final score, Harrisburg High 33, Imhotep 14.